I'll hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They're deceived with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Sports Report After Dark. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving. I am your host, Seven. Dan the Dick Warner is sitting in the background ready to go. As we get started today, as always, I do want to give everybody a brief introduction as to what we do here. Our After Dark show is not for family situations. You will be answering questions for your kids that you're probably not ready to answer. So definitely enjoy this if you need to in a separate sense. All episodes are available on the Sports Report YouTube channel. We get real and we get real offensive. I do want to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. Gunslinger Soap is handmade soaps and beard products made without all of the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off of your first order and always free shipping. That's gunslingersoap.com. Definitely check them out. What's up, Dick?
How's it going, buddy?
Holy shit, my microphone's been fucked over here. By the way, I sounded weird. I am doing pretty good, man. It was a...
You sound weird in general.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's fair. It wasn't, yeah.
It was a long day, man. I'm not gonna lie, but I am so excited to be able to do this. I'm glad to be able to just talk some shit with you, man. We don't get to talk as much as we used to, and so I cherish our time together.
Right. And we get to do it in front of people, which is probably not a great idea. But
and until that court order actually takes effect and we have to stop doing what we do in front of people, we're going to do what we do in front of people.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to back them up with paperwork. I mean, they're going to be my lawyers are going to have those people in there forever.
And what is up, Derpy 501st? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Definitely shout out in the comments if you are enjoying us. And share.
Derpy,
that really helps us.
Derpy. I love that.
So as we get started tonight, I will go ahead and be cordial enough to indicate that there are going to be some things that would be considered trigger warnings to people that we are going to discuss during our opening block today, including things like domestic and sexual assault. So if you are somebody that is triggered, I apologize. Please understand that we are trying to discuss these things objectively. It is not meant to disrespect or harm anybody in any way, but we talk about stuff. And so please take care of yourself. If you need to pause, skip ahead, we will not be offended. Okay.
I wear my sunglasses at night. So yeah.
Okay. So so let's go ahead. We'll clear out the elephant in the room to start. Deshaun Watson is making his first start for the Cleveland Browns in a regular season game on Sunday. It will have been exactly 700 days since he's last started in a regular season NFL game.
You sick fuck. I can't wait until that starts happening.
People
are going to get in on it.
What's even more interesting is Tony Busby, the attorney that represented the bulk of the women that sued Mr. Watson, has said that about 10 of the women that were accusers of Mr. Watson during the of sexual assault have announced that they plan to attend the game.
I was going to say, are you going to say they're going to be there? Oh my good God. This just keeps getting better and better.
I'm really conflicted on this, and I'm gonna make a point that some people may disagree with, because I will say, first off, I support these women in their choice to do this 100%. So I'm not going to take anything away from that. As a victim myself, I understand why they're making the statement that they're making it, but I will say that I disagree with this whole thing, and the reason is because this is not bringing about any solutions that fix the issues that we have with how sexual assault is handled in among the human race, because this is not just a United States problem. So let's be clear on that. There are issues with how the United States handles sexual assault, but let's be truth. You go get sexually assaulted in the Middle East, and if you're a woman, you're going to get killed. If you're a man, you're still probably going to get killed, or at the very least ignored and mocked.
If you're a man in the Middle East and you get sexually assaulted, you're definitely gonna die, because ain't nobody letting you tell anybody about that. It's probably gonna be another man, right? Yeah, you're dead. Ain't nobody gonna let you tell anybody about that. Like
that's exactly my point. So there are a wealth of problems with how these situations are handled across the globe. But here's the thing: this entire situation is such a fucking media circus at this point that it is completely distracting. It is completely distracting and devaluing the issues. And that's, he's right. I mean, you guys are right. But no, it's completely distracting. It's not creating any solutions.
Real quick, Tone.
I mean, go ahead.
This one. So that only 10 of them are going to be there. The other ones are still they're still there. They just don't want to go to the game because that's weird as fuck.
And that's the thing is, I get it, but I disagree with it, because there's already going to be such a circus. There's going to be cameras everywhere. Like, it's going to be such a tense situation. Like, how is anything going to get accomplished that day? It completely diminishes the issue. And think about the pressure for every single player on that field on Sunday for both the Cleveland Browns and the Houston Texans. Let's talk about the bystanders for a minute. Donovan Peoples-Jones. I'm not going to claim he's the best receiver on the Cleveland Browns. But, I mean, he's not bad. He's got hands.
Hey, but he's the people's Jones, man.
He's the people's Jones, right.
He's our Jones,
Imagine the type of impact this is giving him, or this is having on his career. Being in this fucking circus that is the Cleveland Browns right now. Every other player on that roster, because of the entire issue, and one could say it could be a pensive thing, awareness and thinking about the fact that this is an issue, but at the same time, these guys are trying to work and perform. And while sexual assault awareness is everybody's battle, there's a time and a place for those discussions.
Once those guys get on the field, though, they're not going to be worried. They ain't worried about that shit. I don't think anyway. I mean, obviously you have the chance and stuff. Like maybe you come off the field and you hear one of those chants or something like that. Like it might re-enter your mind for a second, but I mean, for the most part, these guys got to be completely focused in the game. They are. They're going to be completely into the game when it starts. I think that's all just off the field stuff before and after.
I think it's going to have a huge. I do think it impacts those guys that are not Deshaun Watson. And think about the pressure on the Texans players, because these guys are facing this guy. Some of those guys were still there when he was there and know what was actually going on. And so they're looking at that. People are actually starting to look more at the organization. Who all knew? Why wasn't anybody else saying anything about what was actually going on? Why are we only getting a specific thing? We're not even really getting Deshaun's side. In fact, and that's the truth. There's a whole lot of shit going on here, and these guys are the face of the weight of it.
Whose move was it, by the way, to bring him back in Cleveland at the Texans, his old team?
Oh, that was completely the NFL. Come on now.
I was going to say,
how else are you going to get ratings for a Browns-Texas game? Come on.
Good job, Goodell. Fucking genius. You old genius, rich man, you old genius, white man, rich man, you.
Here's the thing. The Cowboys game on Thanksgiving took the record for the most watched NFL game in history for the regular season. The NFL could potentially, with all of the hype around this, the peak viewership for this game on Sunday between the Browns and the Texans could beat those numbers. I legitimately think it will. Exactly. It 100% money.
Roger Goodell likes money.
Roger Goodell likes money. Yeah. Roger Goodell likes money more than
He's like, I'll go back. He's like, I'll go back and I'll put money in a savings account. He's like, an interest. He's like, interest? He's like, I like money. That's who fucking Goodell is. I like money.
I like money.
Just like it.
No, you're right. It's the whole situation. And it's not just, I will say, and when I talk about this isn't just about the accusers going to the game. It's about the entire situation in general. What in the actual fuck? This, it's just going to be a circus. And it completely devalues both the game of football and, to a more important extent, sexual assault awareness, because it's making a mockery of the entire issue. It's fucking spectacle.
What about the Cleveland Browns? What a Browns move this is to make. If any other team would have made this move, we'd be like, what a Browns move to make, right? But it was the Browns who made this particular move. Just they made a Browns move. The Browns made the Browns move. And what are they doing? How in the fuck?
Deshaun Watson is their answer to being a Super Bowl contending team. And I've got news for everybody. In case you forgot, Deshaun Watson looked like absolute dog water in that preseason game. That dude is not going to be in prime form. The benefit to him coming back this season is he can get those cobwebs out for a few games. The Browns have zero expectations of Deshaun Watson to start this off. Let's fucking be real here. And then just to get those cobwebs out so that next season they can make a run. They're going to be able to charge more for advertisers because they've got Deshaun Watson. They're going to be able to charge more for tickets because they got Deshaun Watson. All of these things are going to become infinitely more value because of the presence of Deshaun Watson. This is 100% about money. Always has been, always will be.
How in the world do they? Okay, so how in the world would Deshaun Watson ever come back from this? Like how? If what's the Browns record right now? Do you know? It's not good. It's not going to be good.
I mean, they're not horrible. They actually, Jacoby Brissett was doing pretty well considering the situation because they're 4-7.
So if they went out, they could make the playoffs. They would be 10-7.
So let's take a look. Okay, so they're AFC North. Trying to think here. I'm looking at the other. It's a stretch, and part of it's going to depend on how the Chargers how the Chargers finish their year would be one of the impacting things. But there is a slim chance that Deshaun Watson could get them into the playoffs this year. Yeah, it's possible. They're not out of it.
If outside of him, like if he literally goes and wins out, how many names? How many names do you have, Derpy? Because I feel like you're the same person. You're the same person out here.
It is all the same person.
It is. Damn
yeah.
it. No.
It is.
But
most active shot we've ever had. Quit complaining.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just confused now. Sorry. If he wins out, they go 10-7. They make the playoffs. He wins the Super Bowl in Cleveland. He brings Cleveland a fucking Super Bowl. Runs through the playoffs, dominates games. Like quite literally just dominates games. That's actually going to make people hate him more than they do right now.
That is the worst possible scenario for the NFL right now. Roger Goodell is praying to God. And really all they need is 1 or 2 more losses, and that's it. They're already they are on the edge. They do have to win out to even have a shot. You get 1 or 2 more losses, and you know you're fine if you're Roger Goodell. But there is still, I mean, he is Deshaun Watson. When he was at his peak with the Texans, he was one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. We're not going to deny that fact.
I am going to deny that fact, but yeah.
At that time, he was top 3.
I'd say he was top 6. I'd say he's top 6, but yes, we're not going to get
okay, so hold on. No, 2019, Deshaun Watson. Who else are you putting ahead of him?
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. That's 2, which making 3. Definitely fucking Patrick Mahomes. That's
right.
3.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean, there's 5 quarterbacks I could put ahead of Deshaun Watson in 2019.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that. Okay. I'll give you that.
Just top 3 is just like you got to be. You got to be A-Rod, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes at that time to be top 3. So he wasn't top 3, but he was top. He was an elite NFL quarterback. He was one of the only quarterbacks in the NFL that can get you to a Super Bowl and win it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's so that we can agree on. Okay, so if that Deshaun Watson, shockingly to all of us, shows up out of the gate, yes, we are going to get to Antonio Brown. If that Deshaun Watson shows up out of the gate on Sunday and they win out, then obviously, we're going to hear these Deshaun Watson is elite. There will be people that put him up at top 3 with Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Depending on the actual results and stats and stuff, like if he wins out, those are going to be the type of things that will be floating around, at least to an extent. But what I'm saying is the NFL doesn't want that to happen. And I'm going to say this, like if Deshaun Watson is looking good, you're going to all of a sudden see some bad officiating in Browns games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, absolutely.
I know I'm like the Alex Jones of sports podcasters with my conspiracy theories. but except for the fact that I don't hate Jews or black people, and Sandy Hook did happen. But
you're like Alex Jones minus the bigotry and the cocaine.
Alex Jones means Giorgio Sakalos, and like appearance wise, it's kind of there already. So I think we can kind of run with that.
Yes, we can. I can see that.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see that.
Anyway,
Giorgio seems like such a gentle guy. Such a gentle man, he seems like.
You're going to tee me off on that one of these days, and I'm going to go into my shit on him, and I'm going to get canceled. No. One of my favorite. Well, it's actually one of my best bits, I think, when I'm actually doing it right. But no, it's the thing with this is the NFL doesn't want that to happen. The NFL does not want that to happen. Can you imagine how the NFL is going to feel? Let's say in that scenario, the Chargers struggle a little bit and the Browns get that third slot instead of the Chargers. You know how pissed the NFL is going to be that they have to deal with Deshaun Watson in the playoffs and not Justin Herbert.
Oh God!
They don't want that. They don't want that.
They're just not going to let it happen.
Exactly. It's not.
Yeah,
I have a hard, and like I said, with what I've seen, strictly on a performance basis, from what I've seen from Deshaun Watson, I have every right to expect he doesn't throw for over 150 yards on Sunday. They keep it to the ground, and he throws at least 2 picks.
I don't know. They're gonna. I mean, I just it's so interesting to see how it's going to go because it could come out and Texans could just get up on him basically. Like they could just basically get up because he's playing like shit. And he might.
I'd love to see the Texans tee off on the Browns.
He might throw exactly. Everybody would. That's the thing. Like everybody besides Cleveland fans, and even some Cleveland fans are like, "Oh."
I'm sure there's got to be Cleveland fans like, I hope he falls on his face. Like there's got to be. And I don't blame him. It's hard to feel that for your team too.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, so even Browns fans don't want the Browns to win. So if he just goes through, just rolls through like I'm saying hypothetically, if that it's not going to happen, but if it were to happen, it actually is worse. I think it's worse for them. Like if if Deshaun Watson goes and wins a Super Bowl with the Browns this year, oh my God, talk about the hate. There's going to be some death threats. There probably already has been, but
Tom Brady is no longer the most hated man in the NFL anymore. Sorry. Deshaun Watson is running with that cape till the end of his career.
Absolutely. I mean, even now. I think even now he is. And
here's the other thing that people have to that aren't thinking of that's about to happen. Like, how many of these guys that are going to get to tee off a hit on Deshaun Watson have daughters and sisters and mothers, family members that are victims of sexual assault, really care about their massage therapist because of the important work that they do for them and how he fucked up that relationship with NFL players and massage therapists. Because he did. Like, I would not be surprised to see him get fucking teed off multiple times throughout the rest of the season.
Is there going to be a personal foul? Is somebody, because think about how tempting it would be from the other side to just go at him and try and hurt him and risk being ejected from a game to hurt him. Because if you get ejected from a game, dude, if I play for the fucking Houston Texans, dude, if I play safety for the Houston Texans, I am taking a cheap shot. I'm taking a cheap shot at Deshaun Watson.
Oh, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm not advocating for injury. I'm predicting here. I don't advocate for anybody to get injured. But here are the things that can happen. We know how athletes think and how men see these things. Like, there's a point where a primal piece and a protected piece takes over, and logic goes out the fucking window. So if some of these guys are going to be teeing off, I have a feeling that the ones that are going to do it are going to have made peace with the fact that they may face ejection, or y'all may see refs turn around. Could you imagine?
Oh God, dude! If they actually like go straight, if they go straight like Bob Gibson with it, like like what was that? I read something today where Bob Gibson was just like he was mad about something the Reds did. The Reds hit one of his players, so he hit like the first 3 Reds players, hit all of them, and then Johnny Bench came up and he threw like 3 pitches behind Johnny Bench, walked him, and eventually got pulled from the game. But like, I mean, they were just letting him just basically throw at everybody. Like, so are they? They're not going to let him do that. They're going to like
at some point, and all those guys. At some point, the NFL would actually step in. But if a few shots get off and overlooked, don't be surprised, because it's really, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to find it hard to advocate for Deshaun Watson right now, and I understand it completely. Again, I'm not calling for anybody to get injured. I'm not that type of person. I know better. But like I said, you got a lot of these guys that have moms, sisters, daughters, you know, and all, or, you know, these things kick in, and you have all this time to fester. Think about these guys on the Texans. Those guys have had that date on the calendar circled since he was traded. Guaranteed.
I think in their
Sunday is the Texans Super Bowl. Sunday is the Texans Super Bowl for them. Guaranteed. That's how
privately they have, but I don't think in the locker room, that shit would get out. I mean, there's people in the media and stuff around all the time. So like there's publicly in that locker room, there's nothing probably, I mean, yeah, there's shit being said about it. Like, but it's like, hey, I know we got this distraction, you know, publicly and to his whole team as in general, that coach is going to be telling them hey, we're not retaliating. This is a football game. We're trying to win. Like, don't get personal fouls and shit. Don't do stupid stuff. That's what the public message is inside of the Texans locker room, guaranteed. Okay, so that's what it is to everyone. But you know, those little backroom, those dudes to each other and kind of under their breath and shit are going, oh, we're gonna fucking kill this motherfucker.
I mean, think about the bounty gate from Sean Payton. You didn't know a thing about that if you were in the press. But that behind-the-scenes communication between all the players, Sean Payton had bonuses for players getting taken out of games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah, you can do it. There's a clear, in any like work setting, there's a clear like separation between, you know, like what the manager of your place you work at says to everybody, and then like obviously what you could talk about with your manager and things like that, or talk about with other employees privately is like a whole different thing. In this sense, it's like a bigger issue. It's like a bigger thing because there's media. So like the public message is hilarious to some of these guys, I'm sure, because they're like, oh yeah, we're not doing this, not doing that. Like, oh, and in the public message, because they understand that you can't just come out and be like, hey, today we're going to hurt Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, we're going to see if you can remove the top half of his body from the lower half of his body.
See, we were unable to attach the top half of his body to the lower half of his body. We ain't doctors. Speak English, Doc. We ain't scientists. He's gone. Nobody. If anybody knows that's fucking. Dude, that's Walk Hard. That fucking movie is hilarious.
That movie is so great.
It's so good. You know who else? You know who else has hands? The devil, and he uses them for holding. Oh my god, it's such a fucking great flick.
John C. Reilly does not get enough appreciation. I'm not saying he's the best, dude, but when you think about comedy greats, comedy actor greats, like he's definitely in like, he's not top tier, but he's that next one down.
Like film and TV wise, he's got to be legend status. Like at this point, like as a comedian, film and TV wise, he's got to be a fucking legend, dude. Like that shit is awesome. That shit's awesome. And yeah, a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, he piggybacked off Will Ferrell. No, dude, he's just as funny as Will Ferrell in every movie. If you watch it, like he's just as funny. Like he writes a lot of that stuff. He has that show on fucking Adult Swim that's hilarious. It's fucking so ridiculous, but it's hilarious. I forgot what it's called.
Hold on. Now you've got me because I'm trying to remember. I was just getting ready to.
Something like it's like something happy hour. He calls it something like happy hour or something like that. I can't remember what it is, but that shit's hilarious. It's a sketch show. It's so outlandish. You know the stuff they have on fucking Adult Swim. Like it's some of that stuff is absolutely.
I know which one. It's his weird. It's Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule is what the show called. And like I kind of get that look. Like when because you see me when my hair is like really grown out. Like I kind of get that Dr. Steve Brule look too.
He's always like in front of he's always just like confused in front of the camera. He's always just like, well, I don't know what I'm talking. Like he's just like, I don't know what I'm talking about. Like that's all the whole thing is like him just like not knowing where he's at. Like, dude, it's so fucking good. Like, and that's experimental stuff that he, like that's the Adult Swim stuff is all experimental shit. You can tell, like it's all this like stuff. They're like, hey, let's see if this catches. like if you just watch one of those shows that some of those dudes put on the animated shit, it is so outlandish and so outside of the realm of what normal comedy is or like comedy TV shows are. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. Like some of that stuff is really good, but it's all experimental shit. It's all like their writers and stuff.
I think it's a great medium for it. I think that what Adult Swim does is really great because, like, yes, it's a late night. The kids are supposed to be asleep, but especially even with Adult Swim when we were younger, we would stay up and watch that stuff late at night because there was good fucking shit on. And now it's on Adult Swim late at night. They've also got Family Guy sometimes too. There's some really good anime shows,
right?
That pop up on Adult Swim. Like
it's midnight on a Wednesday though.
Mm-hmm.
About midnight on a Wednesday at Adult Swim.
Robot Chicken,
weird shit. Dude, Robot Chicken's a put together show. Like Seth Green does a really good, and that show's actually like, I think that show's probably like it's a little outlandish, but it's like with fucking Family Guy and American Dad and all those like, it's like it actually is put together and you can actually watch it and be like, okay, I understand what's going on. Like they're flipping through the channels, like it's fucking funny as fuck. Like, dude, some of those are outrageous. Like there's like fucking It reminds me of like Family Guy Peter's fucking Peter's show. Tomato Nose, or he's like, they were walking to the store when they got hit by a truck. He's like shit like that. That's what it reminds me of. It's just like his outlandish, like poopy face tomato nose and shit like that. Like that's what it reminds me of. The drawings are just outrageous. Like there's always fucking like, dude. I don't know. Like
claymation. Who would have thought that claymation would be such an entertaining art medium as adults?
Because they can do whatever they want. Like people can get their limbs ripped off, like just fucking ran over, whatever the fuck they want to do with these animated. Because nobody cares about the animated fucking. You can't do it with live action because you would actually have to have a kid getting its arms ripped off and shit like that. But like moral oral is one of them that's fucking outlandish. It's always like him getting fucking. It's literally him getting fucking molested by his fucking dad and shit the whole time, and it's like, whoa, this is off the wall stuff.
Yeah, it's. But I mean, and they go with it, and I respect it. It's a great channel. It really is art in comedy and art and in thought provoking in a very pure form, and I love it. I love it.
It has to be. Do you think it's like it has to be something where they're almost testing like if people watch it or not, like or if people will watch it and then or like they're just kind of bouncing it off of the wall to get a little bit of like. Because midnight on a Wednesday, who's watching Cartoon Network? You know what I'm saying? Like so what they're trying to do is like they were like, we have all this dead space basically. Like, can we just like see if some people will watch it? We can get some like feedback off of this crazy shit that we have in mind. Like that's got to be what it is, right?
Why not?
Exactly. I'm saying that's a great idea. It's just like that's got to be because it's some of it is so out. Like they know that stuff's not ever going to be shown on like regular like cable TV.
Prime
like
time.
During they're never. It's never going to be because. Too many people are like, if I think it's outlandish, holy shit, right? Like, if I think it's outlandish,
Moral Oral and Robot Chicken, those two specifically, not even getting into some of those. Some of the anime shows can get like borderline hentai. But like when you think about just more, we'll say just Moral Oral and Robot Chicken. Like Robot Chicken might be able to fit in with animation domination on Fox on a Sunday night if it's the last show and they make a couple of changes. But if you leave these or most of the shows as they stand right now, if they were on in prime time, like the outrage, like you did the from some of the jokes, like
don't watch, like it would be and people not understanding any of it either because it's so like nobody would give it a chance for one. They're like I've given that stuff a legitimate chance. Like I've tried to watch it and some of it is just unfucking watchable. But like that's what they're trying to figure out is like, is it watchable? And like, can we like I didn't think Robot Chicken was watchable at first. And then I like gave it a chance.
I had a hard time with it. Yeah.
And I was like, and I gave it a chance and I was like, this show is fucking hilarious, dude. They always end it with like the movie. It's always like the end of a movie. And it's the most outrageous, but the stories are really good in it. Like the actual comedy stories are really good. They're just so quick that you're, like obviously you're just getting the fucking one to flip of the channel and then you're getting so like they have really good ideas. Like one of my favorite ones ever is fucking the dude from ZZ Top. He stands up from the couch and he hits his shin on the coffee table and he's like, aha, ha, ha. And then the channel changes. And I was like, Oh my god, dude! What the
I
fuck?
can't remember that one. That's the greatest. Some of it is so dumb and so simple at the same time, and there's other times where the comedy and the stupidity of it is actually very complex, and I think it's great.
Yeah, it's well written. Like Seth Green's a super smart dude. Like you can tell that he's, and those guys this is obviously a board of him or whatever, but like they're just throwing ideas out. Like, hey, I just had this idea that one of those Easy Top guys hits his shin, and like he makes the noise from the beginning of the song. They were like, that's fucking hilarious. Hit it. Like, and they just make it up really fast because obviously they have, and like you said about the claymation stuff, that gives them such an opening for it.
Oh yeah,
it's anything. It's no holds bar. That's why it gets so weird because. With any other kind of comedy, you think about fucking Step Brothers or anything that John C. Reilly's actually in, you can't get that outrageous because you can't actually make any of the stuff happen on screen. Like with claymation, you can make all of it happen. It doesn't. There's no special effects. There's no anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also shows like the value of what you can do with different art mediums that you wouldn't think, and that's one of the things that I think is great about like just stop animation in general, but clay animations to stop animation like. It is just such an amazing medium to tell a story because, like, think about the Wallace and Gromit movies. You remember watching those?
No.
Okay, so I even recommend them as an adult because they're one of those children's movies that have some adult humor written in that only like jokes that only mom and dad get because it's British inspired. At least I think there's stuff that was actually done in Britain, but like most of what I've seen was stuff that was released in America, but it was still British inspired. And so there is definitely some British humor to it, but it's really cool because like very funny, a lot of stuff that happens with like, different animals and stuff like that you wouldn't normally see that you couldn't do with just regular stuff like it's a great way to tell a story.
Right. And like, funny people, those Brits, by the way. But very funny people.
Monty Python.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Just that's legendary shit. Like that really paved the way for a lot of the Family Guy stuff. I mean, that's like clearly that's Seth MacFarlane's like he said that's like one of his main influences. Obviously, Monty Python is that shit. Like,
I mean,
like my grandmother had me watch a Monty Python movie one time. And I was like, what is this? Like, what is this weird British shit? Like, I had no idea what it was, right? And it was literally the one where the dude runs for like, it's like shows him and he's in the desert and he's like 100 yards away and he's literally running up and down sand dunes. And you just like see him like running, he'll like disappear in a sand dune, run back up. It takes this dude like 2.5 fucking minutes to get to the screen. I'm not even kidding. Like, he's like tripping and shit. Like, it's ridiculous. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And he runs up to the camera, runs straight up to the camera, looks into the camera, breaks the third wall, and just goes, penis. And then the movie starts. And I was like, what the fuck is going on, dude? I was like, that is fucking legendary shit. He just looks right into the camera, just, penis. And he's all like out of breath, catches his breath, penis.
John, as a comic, John Cleese to this day is still one of my inspirations. I love John Cleese. He's amazing.
Tony, do you think it's like they're like taking the essence of like waiting for a punchline, like, like timing. They're taking timing and like making a joke out of the timing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what that joke is, that penis joke. It's like making somebody wait all the way through your story. And like, this dude's like struggling to get at the sand dunes. He's like, he's going to get there. He's trying to get there and like, blah, 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 blah. And then you like make him wait. Like, what the fuck is going on right now? And then you just watch. And then the punchline is penis for no reason at all. And like, it's hilarious. I mean, that's why it's genius. Like, they're just actually stretching it out.
There's the great thing about British comedy to me is there's so many different comedy tropes and comedy like forms, rhythms, different things that you see in their purest form in British comedy. In American comedy in different cultures, we have, the same thing but different builds up, because like especially American comedy is typically a lot wetter, a lot more quick pace, whereas British comedy is typically a little bit more thought-provoking. It's higher brow, if you will, most of the time, smarter comedy.
More waiting, more like the joke is funnier because it means more, because there was more substance in the it's like in the pretext of it. And
rhythm is a big piece of British comedy I've learned. And some of the best British comics, everything that they do is about the rhythm in which they do it. Because like if it was to be in the more American form where it's a lot more conversational with how it's delivered, it wouldn't be the same and it wouldn't be funny.
Right. Yeah. Because they're just not writing it that way. And I guess they've been making jokes for a little bit longer than Americans have too,
Right. I
mean, they've evolved on to, I mean, is that the evolved form of comedy? That might be. British they might be a couple hundred years ahead of us.
Well, I mean, we did kind of start with that stuff and then work our way to our own stuff. So maybe we evolved from them. I don't know.
Right. And is it evolution or is it just, is it evolution or is it just like it's like a separate species? Like we're like American
comedy space-time continuum.
Yes, it branches off and it goes down here. I was watching the other day. 50 ways or a million ways to die in the West.
I love that movie. It's so good,
dude. It was so good. Me and Alicia watched it, and she was like, the part where Back to the Future where they show fucking Doc Brown, and he's in and he's like, oh, it's just a weather experiment. And she was like, that's the best thing I've seen in a long time. I was like, yeah, they literally just made a fucking Back to the Future reference right in the middle of the movie. There's no setup for it at all. There's no reason why it should be there. Yeah, it's like a live action Family Guy episode, that whole fucking movie.
It really is. It is 100% a live action Family Guy. Okay, so before we move forward and talk about their next thing.
All right, yeah.
Wrapping up on Deshaun Watson, I hope that this dies down because we're not accomplishing anything with all the attention this is getting, and it's impacting the other people that it shouldn't have to. And so hopefully
everybody gets the massage.
Hopefully everybody gets inside of their system this week and things can start to get a lot quieter so we can focus the conversation back on what's important. And all right, so next, still some trigger warnings in this one.
I can hear you. Martha, I can hear you.
Stop. Listen, Dan said to
no, keep whispering,
Martha.
Keep whispering so it sounds like it's in my ear. Do it slower. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, see, that's not whispering.
She said no.
I know she said
no. But no, trigger warning. This next thing is going to be when we're talking about the domestic assault. Former Nebraska interim head coach Mickey Joseph was arrested on allegations of domestic assault. A lot of information came out today, Dan. Where do you want to start, buddy?
I didn't see any of the information come. I was still like reeling from the first. He was our Harvey Dent. Okay. He was our shining light and we lost him. And it seems like we lose everybody now at Nebraska. If you notice, I got
go ahead. Keep talking.
Throw the bones. Got him on. Hey, we're living and dying on this right now. Me and Stacks had a moment last night.
Oh yeah,
on the hardwood Wednesdays, 10 Eastern, 9 Central. No, we had a moment last night. We talked for like 50 minutes at the beginning of a fucking basketball show about Nebraska football. So that's
actually no, that was hey, you know what? It happens. But we
felt like we had to address it
because
not many fucking people podcasting in Nebraska at all. So, there's only like 8,000 people who live here. So me and Stacks are like 2 of the 10 people that even broadcast from this fucking state. So we felt like we needed, some solidarity and some voices from the heart of Nebraska. Even though we live on the East Coast of it. East Coast. Hey, represent. No. But East Coast, Nebraska. No. We don't like the ones that are on the Iowa side. We like the ones that are on the Missouri side. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Okay.
No, we felt like we had hit it up. Go ahead.
So this tweet came out today from John Kuiper. Arrest affidavit for Mickey Joseph claims Mickey and wife argued over infidelity. Mickey strangled her on the couch. Mickey then grabbed her hair, threw her down, and punched her in the face. Mickey tried to flush her phone down the toilet. Wife's brother was at the house.
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna make a joke real quick. That was pretty much what Mickey's. That's pretty much what Mickey's offense was this year, trying to flush a fucking cell phone down the toilet. Yeah, that's so it makes sense.
You feel better? You get it out of your system?
No, there's so many, but I'm not gonna make them. It's not out of my system.
Not the time.
I hope his wife is okay. If he punched her in the face, like that dude's a strong dude. It's probably not good. Let's just say that's not.
Reports definitely say there was visible bruising and lacerations.
Sure there was. And hey, I'm glad that me and fucking Stacks actually, I literally had to preface the whole thing with, we're just gonna speculate here because we had no idea what happened, and we actually got a lot of the speculation right. Like, so we didn't actually say anything stupid because that's what almost exactly what we said was going to happen. Like, we were like, that's probably what happened. Like, we were like, yes. And Stacks even fucking, because of course Stacks has fucking all the information. He literally knew about the fucking infidelity thing. He was like, yeah, I think it was because they were arguing about like, because Stacks probably called the police station and was like, hey, what was this thing about? No, but yeah, no, he kind of called the infidelity thing too. Dude, he was our fucking Harvey Dent.
Here's the thing. Like, I had hope for him that maybe he was, because he had started to make an impact there in Nebraska, it looked like, and I was hoping maybe it might lead to him actually getting an opportunity somewhere.
Not now.
And I mean, clearly not now, but like, let's talk about beating the shit out of somebody over infidelity. Because apparently, even though we're adults, we have to have this conversation. Okay?
Right. Hey,
there
real
is
quick,
no reason.
Before you start here, which one are you thinking? Which way are you thinking infidelity? Are you thinking she cheated on him?
Actually, I think that's what it was.
Was it? Because I think it was reversed. Because
then why would he be flushing the thing to me?
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Why would he be flushing her phone down the toilet if it wasn't her? And again, I'm not slut shaming. I'm not body shaming. I'm any of that. This is speculation. And this 100%. The whole reason that's my theory. I don't know anybody, not judging anybody. The whole reason I'm coming to that theory is because he flushed her phone.
That's a good point.
Which to me would be an indicator that he is trying to destroy her connection to something. From a psychological standpoint, that's the jumping reason why he would do that.
Good point, and probably a good assumption. And that's a good assumption. I didn't think about it that way. I just thought maybe like she was trying to call the cops. Like trying to call the cops.
But wife's brother was there. Wife's brother was the one that called the cops.
Right.
So, I mean, was there? Why wasn't he trying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Why wasn't the wife's brother trying to? Or why wasn't he trying to go after the wife's brother? Like,
or the wife's brother trying to go after him after he punched his sister in the face.
That key thing is an interesting piece to me in that whole scenario. Like, I think there's definitely more information to the story. So again, a lot of this is going to be speculation. But regardless of who it was that cheated, my discussion on this topic is very, very simple. Regardless of who cheated, if somebody cheats on you and your reaction is to beat the shit out of them or beat the shit out of the person that they cheated on you with, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
And if you get caught as the cheater, so let's say he's the one that got caught because, hey, he's a coach in a college football program that is a storied program. There are going to be groupies that go. Obviously, the pool isn't going to be as pretty or as big, or it's going to be big. It's just not going to it's big. There's a lot of corn-fed girls in the Midwest. I'm not judging. I'm just speaking from experience here. But it's the pool.
A lot of high fructose corn syrup. Yeah, there's a lot of soda. The per capita soda around here is unbelievable.
Anyway,
the
pool exists. So let's say she caught him. Okay, reason he destroyed her phone was because she had proof that she caught him. He was trying to protect his name from getting destroyed being able to become a college coach, or maybe, hey, get a shot at the NFL.
He was our Harvey.
Hey, this type of behavior, regardless of whether you're the cheater getting caught or the person that was getting cheated on. I've been both. I'm speaking from both sides of the coin here. Did you at any point want to just beat the shit out of somebody? No.
I'll be honest and get the immediate reaction that I have been cheated on before, and I wanted to beat the shit out of the immediate reaction, like off the top, is to beat the shit out of the person that, you know what I'm saying, like the dude that they were cheating, right?
Right.
Like then you think about it, and you're like, what? That doesn't make any sense either, because obviously the person you should actually be mad at is the person that you're in a relationship with, right?
Now,
like that should be the actual person that you should be mad at.
I mean, and even in the situation where let's say it was your partner cheated with a friend of yours. Your partner was the one. Now, you can be mad at the friend for the betrayal. It's separate. But when, if you're going to truly, like, the problem that really exists is the person that, the other person is who you should be mad at. The partner that actually committed the infidelity. Yeah.
Because your friend didn't cheat on you.
Your friend betrayed you, but it's a different discussion.
Yeah, it gets very complex.
But in a normal scenario where that's not the case and it's not more personal, partner cheats with somebody else, random. The workplace infidelity is very common. Beating the shit out of that other person, whether it's the person they cheated with or the partner that did the cheating, beating the shit out of them accomplishes literally zero things.
Other than making the situation worse.
100%
of the time, there's not like it's not like anybody, never in the history of that happening has someone beat the shit out of the other person and then everybody was like, "Oh, I feel like that's better now." Like, never has that made.
Yeah, that solves the problem. Has never been said after that scenario.
They just sat down, had some popcorn, and watched a movie, and were like, fuck it, it's over now. Sorry, you got a black eye, honey. That doesn't. That's not ever the situation. It's not ever making it better.
No.
Not ever has that happened.
No, not once.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to say this: don't fucking do it. Because you are instantly the problem in that scenario. If your reaction to it is violence, whether it's towards the partner that cheated or the person that they cheated with or both, you accomplish nothing. If you want to watch American Beauty, if you're a guy and a girl cheats on you, you can catch them working at a fast food restaurant, finding your identity before you end up getting killed because Chris Cooper thinks you're gay and you're not gay.
Yes. And Chris Cooper was gay in that movie, so let's just sit and lather in that for a second.
I understand that Kevin Spacey is a horrible person, but that movie was fucking amazing.
Nobody was ever like, the only reason anybody even says Kevin Spacey is a bad person is because he was a fucking great actor. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody would give a shit about Kevin Spacey being a shitty person if he wasn't a fucking great actor. The guy's a fucking legend. I mean, it's been in a bunch of great movies.
What's frustrating, the movie 21 is still one of my favorite movies. That and American Beauty are in my top 10.
Yeah, me too. I wouldn't say top 10 with 21, but like I think American Beauty is definitely in my top 10, like of all time, and that's fucking a list.
I think 21 is in my top 10 simply because of the fact that I appreciate the way in which they told the story and the way that the guy, it wasn't just about the way Kevin Spacey played the villain. I love Kevin Spacey as the villain though. It's just his talent. But
right. Imagine that.
Right. But in 21, just that movie as a whole, the way the whole story was told, like Lawrence Fishburne was fucking great in that movie. The guy that played the lead kid that was brought in that helped them make so much more money,
Haven't seen him in anything else, by the way. Have you seen him in anything else?
Yeah, he's done some other stuff.
Yes.
I don't think he's done anything as big, but he was around for at least a while after that. I've seen him in a couple of other things. I don't know recent, but I don't think that was his only big thing, at least not to my knowledge.
Okay.
But solid flick, but
really solid.
In American Beauty, like, he went with the more mental health and, all of that and being a dramatic bitch about it, which, when you're the person who got cheated on, you're allowed to be a little dramatic and a little angry and unhappy about it. I get that. But being violent is just the dumb way to do it. You're not going to accomplish anything.
Yeah, he never even really like even hints at violence in that. It's all about like him basically like it's like the kicker that takes over his it's like that's what takes over and like is the catalyst to him like changing who he is as a person, which I thought you know what I'm saying, like that's really, and if that's the case and to make you be who you really want to be, he took it as a positive. You know what I'm saying? Like he actually made it a positive.
There are a lot of people that come out of a long-term relationship and end up making a lot of life changes. We when we're in a relationship, we kind of tend to fall into a certain type of role because we understand what our partner needs. And so the longer that you're in that role, the less you consider making other changes, because even the thought of certain other things is just like, I know they wouldn't like that, or that's not going to be good for this situation. And when so
you're considering the other person,
right?
Yeah,
but
I get what you're saying.
But when you no longer have to consider the other person, fuck it, let's get a motorcycle. Hey, let me date a chick that's 20 years younger. Let's see what happens.
That is a 1972 Pontiac GTO, my favorite car of all time. He's like, I rule. I rule.
Did you see the episode of Family Guy from the first episode of this season? They actually did kind of a Family Guy remake of American Beauty.
Fuck no. I need to check that out now, though.
The first episode of Family Guy for this season, they did. I
gotta go,
take
Joe.
some 3 Oscar movies. They did take some 3 Oscar movies. It was Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, geez.
American Beauty. And then I can't remember what the last one is, but it was really good.
Their episodes where they do those are fucking fantastic. Like obviously everybody loved the Star Wars remake episodes. I just wasn't a huge Star Wars fan. Like anybody who likes Star Wars, like as a Star Wars fan, like loved those because they're even funny to me, and I don't fucking know I don't get half the jokes. Like so they're funny to me, and I don't get half the jokes. So I imagine to people that like Star Wars, they're fucking awesome. But yeah, anytime they tackle covering anything it's fantastic. They did where Peter's fucking Jim Morrison.
Oh God!
Last season,
the band's one.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh God! It was Jim Morrison. Didn't they do the Beatles?
He's one of the Beatles, yeah. And then it's just outrageous. But like, yeah, they basically did like a cover.
Wait, Jim Morrison, the Beatles, and Queen, because they were talking about the British invasion.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that episode was awesome. Peter as fucking
good.
Jim Morrison. Fat Peter as Fat Jim Morrison is fucking like the best thing ever.
Because he sucks his body in for the album cover, and it just
yeah,
God,
it's like
all
just seeing his ribs and shit. Yeah. Scotty Burnett actually he was like, "You've seen the Family Guy Jim Morrison thing, right?" And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "You need to watch that eepisode now." And I was like, immediately, I was
so
like,
good, so good. Okay, and then, but it's.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Mickey Joseph.
Well, yeah.
It's never okay to respond with violence when somebody cheats. Like, regardless of which person you are in a relationship, there's no reason for it. It's not going to make the situation better. It's not going to fix anything. You're instantly the problem in the situation. That's what it is. So if that's your thought on how you would respond to that, get help, please. It's not healthy. It's healthy to be impacted by it and show emotion, but showing violence to that is not healthy. It's not.
And I think about how uncomfortable
this is what happened. He deserves to be in jail.
How uncomfortable this conversation is to have, and the reason why a lot of this stuff doesn't ever get fixed is because like we just naturally strayed off the path like 3 times. And I don't think we were doing it on purpose, but I think we were probably a little bit subconsciously doing it because this subject is so uncomfortable that even we who are trying to talk about it, you know, actually to each other are still like straying off of the path of it naturally because nobody wants to talk about it. And that's probably why a lot of it's not getting fixed. Because if we're sitting here and wanting to talk about it on a show that we have, right? How uncomfortable is it for people who aren't on a show, you know, talking about it to each other and it just happened to the two or, you know, to anybody about it? Like, it's got to be super uncomfortable for them, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it almost has to be. And that's why a lot doesn't get fixed.
And that's the thing is you have to have uncomfortable conversations to have growth. Because if you stay in your little spot, you're only going to have a little experience. But when you actually push out past those things, talk about mental health issues, talk about struggles, don't just present the highs, present the lows, present the real. The actual growth and conversation can come.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that we do this, it's one of the reasons there's a guy that I follow on Facebook, and his name is, I want to make sure I read this correctly. Jesse Crosson, Crosson, Second Chancer. He was in jail for a violent crime, beat the shit out of somebody, and got got a really long sentence for it. Had been in crime and stuff like that, so that's why he kind of got longer term.
Anger issues.
He ended up getting pardoned during COVID because he had actually shown a legitimate turnaround. And they were trying to get people out of the prisons, reduce that risk of all of that, and everybody getting sick and all of that. And he's been making videos of, you know, being a content creator, sharing what he's done after, advocating for, you know, things that need to change in the prison system to actually help people get rehabilitated, talking about his own life and actually being real about all these things. And then, of course, he answers some of those interesting questions about life in prison and stuff like that. So he's a legitimately good follow. But, you know, he was talking about that today on one of his posts, you know, that transparency and those difficult conversations are the things that we need to have to grow. And you need to present all of the story, not just the highs.
Right. And people, myself included, like, will basically do anything to, and now I want, and you've helped me a ton with that. Like, kudos to you. Like, you've helped me a ton. Like, just like be like, hey, like, you can have the, did I freeze?
No, you're good.
Oh, I didn't freeze. On my screen, I'm frozen. I'm in like one spot. You are too. Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, that was weird. But yeah, like you've helped me a ton on that. Like, just saying like, hey, you can have these conversations. I've had these conversations with you, and like, it's still uncomfortable for me, but I do have them now. Like, I didn't used to do it at all. I would just do anything to avoid that fucking awkwardness and that conversation, right? But like, now I have those conversations, and like, it does help. It helps a fucking ton, dude. Like, just even to say it out loud for some people is really important.
Yeah. And
like,
when I was, and I've learned, not just because of my own mistakes, and you know, when I say these things, being admittedly a fuck up, you know, similar to you, you know, we're both pretty honest about the fact that we are not perfect citizens.
Speak for yourself, asshole. I'm just kidding. Fuck you.
You know, the thing of it is there's so many people that look at things from a very black and white point of view. Once you cross into one side, you are not the other. And if you are a good person and you do something bad, you become a bad person. There's no way to get back on the other side. And the truth of the matter is that life is full of gray. There are good people that do bad things, and there are bad people that do good things. And so we have to stop living and it's one of the things that I love about cognitive behavioral therapy. I think that if they actually taught the practice of cognitive behavioral therapy in high school as an actual class, if it was a mandated class across the entire country, one semester where you have to learn about cognitive behavioral therapy and what it teaches, I guarantee you so many lives would be changed just in that class. Because the importance of understanding with cognitive behavioral therapy, the main purpose behind it is the people that struggle with it are people that live just in black and white. You know, like you and I, especially with issues with ADHD and the other mental health issues that we have, that is a huge fucking struggle for us to be anything else, because that stuff that's in the gray, if you can't classify it, you get rid of it because you can't classify it. You'd rather know where it stands. If you don't know where it stands, you don't want it in your vision. Out of sight, out of mind.
Very, very classic fear of the unknown.
And, you know, fear of the unknown. Cognitive behavioral therapy allows you to conquer that fear of the unknown and control yourself when you're struggling with that by focusing on things like understanding, you know, focusing on you know, expressing either through thought, verbally, even through writing, what is true, what is unknown, what is, you know, what is false, what do you know, and actually breaking it down and not allowing it to just consume you. And sometimes that is, you know, part of that practice can be, there are times when I've been having issues with my anxiety, and there are times where I'm not really sure, like, what is the truth? You know, when you're having a really bad anxiety attack and there's something that's actually messing with you mentally, you really have to figure out what that truth is. And so there's times where I'm struggling. I have to ask Amber, is this true? You know,
right. And a lot of that's just bringing you into the moment, isn't it? I mean, that's what a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy is like just because I feel like even like when I'm angry, like I have fucking anger issues real bad, dude. I've started to just fucking figure that shit out. Like, whew, if I didn't have that fucking cyst out before, I fucking figured it out now. Like, I got anger issues big time. And it literally feels like in the moment that I'm almost trying to control the future when I'm in that moment. Does that make sense? Like, it's very weird. Like, I'm trying to like control like what the reaction to or like what I'm going to do next will be like, instead of just like realizing that, hey, I'm angry right now about some stupid shit. Like that, and bringing you back into the moment is like kind of what I've taken a couple of cognitive, you know, I'm still a rookie at cognitive behavioral therapy, but like I that's kind of like what the idea was to me, is like bring you into the moment, just realize like, hey, this isn't like, it's not the fucking, your world is not ending, clearly. Like you're fine. Like you're, you know, but you're just thinking about the future too much, probably a little bit, I think. And just bringing you back into the moment. That's the true stuff. Right. That's what I'm trying to make.
Right. And people like us, like sometimes that's one of the hardest things, is be able to actually be in the moment, not just living in the moment, but being in the moment mentally. And there are so many people that struggle with that. And when you get that fear of the unknown and what may happen next, you respond in a certain way. A lot of times people that struggle with these things, it can become increasingly more agitated and pushing into the point of violent reactions. Mickey Joseph had a violent reaction. We're looking at the other one that we said we were going to talk about today, Derpy. I told you we would. Antonio Brown facing a warrant from Tampa PD because he was accused of assaulting one of his baby mamas through a shoe that hit his kid in the head.
The report I saw said he threw a shoe that hit her in the ponytail. Not
a ponytail. So, sorry. Yeah. Thank you for correcting.
Yeah.
Ponytail. I don't want to misrepresent that. Ponytail.
But still, like
I'm just trying to evict his baby mama and force her to get out right now.
Tony, now, I don't want to be like the guy who fucking throws red flags up about this, but like, what does this sound like to you? What did Junior Seau do for months before? Because he wasn't still in the NFL, we didn't know about these things, but this sounds a lot like what Junior Seau did for months before his incident. Sounds like a lot what Javon Belcher did for months before what he did. This sounds a lot to me like early stages of CTE, and that's what it's what this is.
We are past early stages.
Yeah, we're into the
hey, we're going to past early stages of CTE. I don't think we should. I feel bad that we have to say that, but there's no question about it now. Like, I mean, and I wish that CTE was an explanation for what the hell Kanye just fucking did, but that's even I don't even know how to tackle that.
I don't even know what Kanye just did. We'll get into that in a second.
He was on the Alex Jones show. I'll just put it like that.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. I got onto Twitter tonight and I saw that Kanye was trending again, and I just went, oh, fuck. And I started reading through it, and I was just like, God damn it. And I'm
sure Alex Jones helped a lot too.
Oh, and that's what I'm scared of, is because as a comic, I have to sit down and watch this because there's probably a gold mine of material in this fucking episode.
God, you know there's a lot to pick out of that.
But at the same time, it's like everything that I'm seeing is that he was saying that Hitler did good things, and
Oh fuck! Of course he was.
Yeah.
And you know Jones wasn't helping with that at all. I'm still listening.
I can't think he did. So it's going to be an interesting piece to unwrap it, but we're not going to dive into the Kanye thing. Just our friends and watchers that are live and not live that are Jewish, please know we support you and we love you. And
that's
we wish
next
you guys
week's episode.
Fucking go through this. But like when you look at Antonio Brown, like there is no question anymore. Like how can we not just take him and figure this out? There's got to be something. You can't tell me there's not. Find it. Use his brain to find it.
Right. That was what I was going to ask you, Tony. It's like, how do you stop? How do we stop it? You can't stop it at this point. Like, you can't just take him for no reason. And what probably should happen. He needs to be in some kind of fucking facilitated observation stage for probably the remainder of. Like, this really fucking fucked up to say, dude. Like, I don't even want to say, like, for the remainder of Antonio Brown's life, he probably needs to be in some kind of observation stage.
I'm going to say this. There's some people that are going to be offended that I'm going to say it because of the subject matter. Please understand I don't give a fuck. Kanye West and Antonio Brown should be under more restrictions than Britney Spears was under her fucking conservatorship. This is absolutely ridiculous that these grown-ass men are allowed to act this way in public and nothing is going on. Antonio Brown got 2 years of probation for that incident with the delivery driver when he was still in Tampa. They ended the probation a year early on good behavior.
Oh,
everything else like what good behavior?
Yeah, I'm
He's
sure
a
he was actually
fucking problem.
Yeah, like, but what I mean under our current like social state, how do you even do that? Like, how do you justify taking because if it was up to me, I take Antonio Brown and we put him in some kind of, like I said, observational stage. And I don't know what that would be. And obviously some of his human rights are going to be clearly violated within this observational stage. But like, how else do you fucking handle it? I don't even know how else you can do it
at this point.
How else can you fucking
think
do it?
About and Kanye, with all of the stuff that Kanye is saying, eventually somebody is going to snap and he's going to be in danger.
He's definitely in danger. It's just
like
with Kanye stuff, it's like he's just saying things. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, he can say whatever he wants. Like, whether or not you take any stock into it or not is like your own thing. Like, he's just out there saying dumb shit. People have been saying dumb shit forever, dude.
This dude has 30 million followers. What he says has power. There is a point where you have to intervene. It's just like with certain people, like with Alex Jones. Yes, as the common person understands that Alex Jones is a fucking twat and a conspiracy theorist and a horrible person.
He has been right about a lot of things, though.
Right, but yes, a broken clock is right twice a day. But
right, well, he called out the fucking Epstein shit. Like, he actually knew about the Epstein stuff, but that's because he knew about it.
Right.
He just like knew about it because he knew about it. That's what I'm saying. Like, he knew about it because he knew about it. Like, yeah, but regardless,
Alex Jones has so many followers. So Alex Jones pushing the idea of Sandy Hook being a fake and everybody being actors and all this stuff that was pushed around with that conspiracy theory. The issue is less in what he said and the impact that what he says has because of his position and his following.
Right.
That's why athletes are held to a higher standard with things that they say, things that they tweet, things that they post on social media, because what they say has a bigger impact. And that's, the concern for Britney when Britney had her breakdown and they put her into this conservatorship is that she was a danger to herself and a danger to everything that her business had built. Because, in destroying it. And there was concern that she wasn't mentally right. Okay. This is Antonio Brown and Kanye West in exact pieces on both of them.
Right.
Both of them.
Yeah.
But Nobody's gonna put Antonio Brown under a conservatorship and make him actually go through treatment and get into that facilitated situation and actually see if they can figure some shit out, so that maybe in a couple of years he can be back out in public again, can talk football with people without being a danger to everybody. Right. Same with Kanye West. Something is clearly wrong with that dude.
There's God complex would be my first assumption. But yeah,
at some point they can approve intervening on Britney Spears when she wasn't a danger to herself. She was trying to escape being captive by her fucking father.
Yeah.
And she gets put into a conservatorship and locked down even tighter for another 20 fucking years. Antonio Brown and Kanye West are allowed to continue doing these things and being a danger to themselves, a danger to others, and putting other people in potential danger.
Yeah, and immediately with a lot of Antonio Brown is like he's putting people obviously in immediate danger because some of the stories about that shit is fucking like he's obviously throwing shoes, like, and to quote Austin Powers, who throws a shoe? Really? But like he's throwing shoes and stuff at this point, and he's clearly physically abused former or I think it might be the same woman, but I'm not sure.
I think it's the same woman.
Yeah, there's been he's cleared domestic violence issues before this and like stuff like that. So dude, I just can't help but thinking like I don't, like you said, definitely, and I think that's probably what it is. Like this is the early stages of CTE. Like he's in straight, like he probably doesn't feel right in his head, and like it's fucked up because he's never gonna, that he's voluntarily never gonna see anybody about this. He'll go all the way to fucking junior seance stage before anybody even knows. I just don't want to see a report that says Antonio Brown dead in murder suicide, because that's literally how this ends at this point.
Yes. Unless, and that's the thing is unless somebody actually intervenes and I understand the whole human rights complex or the whole human rights context of the situation. And I do respect that. But as human beings, we also have to understand where there's a point when you're a danger to yourself and you're a danger to other people. We can, if my wife could have me forcibly committed if my mental health got really, really bad. Why can't somebody have Antonio Brown forcibly committed because of these problems? There's clearly an issue.
There's obviously it's more of a system issue, right? Because there's people who are who are in more than a conservatorship for selling weed, right? There's people who are in prison for selling marijuana, and Antonio Brown is. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's obviously a system issue here. Like this is obviously we're punishing certain things and not taking control when other things are happening that should be taken control of. So obviously that's a system issue. And Antonio Brown has a lot of money, which is also a system issue, right? Because you can't just have a lot of money and do whatever the fuck you want. That shouldn't be the thing. But apparently that seems to be the thing, right? I mean, what other than what is Antonio Brown still walking around? Like what is he not? Why has he not been committed under some kind of? Because he has a lot of money. Because I can't do that and not go to jail. Right? I can't just do that. I can't just do the things Antonio Brown's done repeatedly at this point and just not be probably in prison, right? Me as a person who doesn't have any money, like that's what I'm trying to understand is like I don't know how. Is it because he has a lot of money, and is it a system issue? It's got to be a system issue. Am I wrong? I mean, that's I'm just asking a question. I know I'm making more.
No, and I think you're 100% correct. It's a system issue, but a woman can want to get out of the captive situation, and she's put under a conservatorship. Men put people in danger and get put back out on the street.
That's a good point. Well,
Britney had a lot of money. She was when you think about the modern era, she was the original mega pop star.
Yeah.
For the modern era, from for 2000s, for 90s and for mid 90s to 2000s,
yeah,
2000s, that 10-year stretch, she was the biggest pop star.
Yes. She was one of the original like Disney pop stars, like of the Timberlake Aguilera type. Yeah. New age. Because obviously Michael Jackson is the mega pop star of all time. I mean, if you're gonna go mega pop stars, but that's not modern, like you said. That's fucking 80s.
Right. Modern wise.
Yeah.
You know, because her in you know, mid-90s, her dad was turning his teenage daughter into an international sex symbol.
What a great father.
I know, right?
Mr. Spears. I like to call him Mr. Spears.
Mr. Spears.
You know, I respect him so much.
If you go into Spotify and search one of my other podcasts, First Generation Dad, I've actually talked quite a bit about the Britney Spears stuff because that really pisses me off how she was treated.
I call him Mr. Spears because I don't know his first name, but
Jamie,
I also call him because I
daughter.
respect him. Are you fucking kidding me? He named a daughter after himself. Oh, good God. His name's really Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're really.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything about people who name their kids because LeBron obviously named his kid, and I think that LeBron totally 100% wanted his kid's name to be LeBron. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is gonna fucking piss people off. I think that people who name their kids after themselves have a little bit of narcissism issues. When they do it, I'm not saying that they can't just like be away from those and maybe they regret, but like that seems weird, right? Like that seems like a weird thing to want your kid to be named. I never wanted if I had a kid, dude, I would never want my kid to be named like Daniel. Like I just wouldn't want. I gotta be like, okay, well, name it something else. Like it can be their own person. Like why do you? Yeah.
So my son. So my first middle name is Anthony Michael. My son's is Michael Anthony. The whole reason behind me giving him Michael Anthony was because I wish that was my name. I thought it was a cool name. I thought it was cooler as Michael Anthony. And so that's the nickname. That's the name that I gave him. And it was something where when Amber and I were talking about when Martha and I were talking about she's pregnant,
Who's Amber?
We
she in the room right now?
We just kind of talking. No.
Good.
When we were talking about names, like she threw some different stuff out there, and we were all kind of talking. She's like, "Do you ever have anything that you liked as a name?" And I told her, I was like, when I was a kid, I wish my name was Michael Anthony instead of Anthony Michael. And she was like,
"That's it."
Yeah, and that was it. Like it wasn't, Patrick Bronze Mahomes the third.
Right.
That's so like.
That's his kid's name.
It's Patrick because he named it Patrick. Whatever his name is. He's the second. New son is the third, but his nickname is Bronze, and it was Jackson's idea.
See, I get that because of his dad. He was already the second. Yeah, he was exactly. He gets the bronze, but his name was already so his dad already named him that. So if you're gonna carry on some kind of, you're the fourth or fifth. If I was Daniel Dick the fourth, I would probably name my kid Daniel. You know what I'm saying? I would probably name my kid Daniel because that'd be the fifth. If you got a streak going, you know what I'm saying? You got a streak going.
If you got a streak going, you might as well keep it going.
Keep the streak going. Don't break the streak. If you got a 50-game hitting streak, keep that fucking Daniel Dick the fourth thing going, right? But but I'm saying who originally did that is. Right. I feel with a lot of the people who do that, I knew that your son's name was, but still not your name. It is right. Both of your names, but they're switched around. So that's actually kind of the opposite, which makes me think a lot about you, Tony. Are you damn anti-narcissist? No, you actually
anti-narcissist.
Just flipped it on his head. Stop being so anti-narcissist. I'm not gonna take it on the show anymore. I get your anti-narcissism, and it's, you know what? It's offensive to me. It's triggering. No, but it's offensive to me and my narcissism. But yeah, no, I got it. It makes me wonder about people that I knew I was pregnant.
No, I've always thought it was kind of weird. When they go just right down the line like that, who's everybody, all the males, the first males, the second, whatever, they're gonna have the same name.
It's so Dark Ages. I feel like. That was why you did it. Was I get the last name thing. He's gonna have your last name regardless.
Right. That's a family name. I get that.
Michael Anthony, first of his name, son of the Andals. No.
So we are gonna take a quick break, and then I am gonna trigger Dan because I've been thinking about something.
Yes.
And I kind
more
of
than your anti-narcissism has done already. More than your anti-narcissism has done already. I'm fighting for all the narcissists on this show who aren't watching it because they're doing their own shit because they don't care about anything else. Damn it! What's a hard demographic to crack into? Narcissist.
Narcissist.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna show some ads for
Demographic.
some of the other sports shows that we do and that our friends do on this network. So stick around. We will be right back.
Even when you feel low, you can still go.
Wrap up your Monday with some laughs. Make sure to join Will, Seven, Dan the Dick Warner, and Josie as they dive into the hottest topics of the week across sports, including baseball, basketball, and the NFL. You can catch the episode live Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, or Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss the Sports Report Podcast.
I've been doing shit my way, or the highway.
Don't miss Fight Night. Every Tuesday night, Will Morgan and Josie Haney break down the hottest topics of the week across combat sports, including UFC, boxing, WWE, AEW, and more. Past episodes are available on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and each episode will air again Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss Fight Night. Tune in or tap out.
Feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never ran, still don't know, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never.
All right. Oh, hey, dear puppy.
She was trying to open the door while I was taking a pee during the break.
Oh.
She's trying to like, hey, everybody, look.
Nah.
Now she's just gonna sit up here, but yeah.
So I know that when I hinted at this idea earlier, you were not a fan, but I'm kind of hoping that you have considered what we're about to talk about. You might be a little bit more open to it because you see the benefit. But I would love, and I think it would be a good thing for LeBron James if he were to not only seek a trade to Phoenix, but on his way to Phoenix, have it be with the intention that he could be coming off the bench. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go, LeBron coming off the bench? What? No! Listen, he's 30 fucking 8. That dude does not need to be playing 35 minutes a game and starting. Put him as your sixth man, 25 minutes a game. You're still going to get 25 and 10 out of LeBron. Come on. You put LeBron out with the second team, he's going to own that court. You might even see 30 off the bench from LeBron sometimes. You probably will. But that saves his knees. You get more of his mind teaching the young guys. You get him in the locker room. You get rid of Jay Crowder.
Here's what I realized about it after you said it. I was like, yes, like in theory, that's the best thing that can fucking happen. Basically, like in theory, that would be perfect. Like, yes, him coming up, it's not ever going to happen. Let's be honest. Like, it's not ever going to.
I can fucking dream, goddammit.
LeBron, like, even if LeBron only plays 20, 25 minutes a game, like if he played for Phoenix, he's still going to start. And then he'll get like 4 minutes in the first quarter. He'll still start. Like, he's not ever going to not start. If LeBron was able to swallow his pride enough and do that, I'd be like, that would be awesome. Like, I'd be like, yeah, because that is the best situation. That would be the basketball wise. If he wants to win another title, how perfect is that? That's a perfect situation to do it in.
Not only is that perfect, but you also add, because you can't tell me if LeBron goes off the bench and drops 30 and 10. We'll say over the course of the season, realistically, we'll say 25 and 8 off the bench over the course of a season from LeBron James. It's not impossible to expect.
20 and 5 would be 25 and 5. He could easily do that off the bench.
And
he would easily
and
do that.
He would get that would add to his resume 6 man.
6 man of the year. It would. And it would literally, it would show people that he was able to do that, to swallow his pride and come off the bench and win a title. And it would show people that he is all about winning. And I think it would actually enhance his legacy.
Exactly.
But he doesn't see it like
that.
He doesn't see it like that. Yeah. He doesn't see it like that. And you can't really expect him to see it like that. Let's be honest.
I don't know, man. Like, I can get why he wouldn't, and I can get guys that are why people that are in his position wouldn't want to make a move like that. But at the same time, from a logic standpoint, if you do step in that spot, you give him, yes, you have LeBron as your 6th man, but guess what? Whoever that person off the bench is, or whoever that person that sits when LeBron's playing with the first team so that they can make sure they have the game in fourth quarter situations, okay, you may be the starter, but guess what? That last 4 minutes, it's a really good chance LeBron's the one that's on the court and not whoever that is.
He would be. Yeah, he would be on the fourth end of the game.
Right, and that's the thing is for LeBron, the end game clutch situations that Skip Bayless is firmly convinced he runs from. You get more energy from him for those and less of an impact. You save the guy's knees. Like, I understand LeBron's not the most popular person, but I want him to be able to walk.
I'm 100% with you. That's better for his career and his health. I think that for sure. That would be awesome. Like, I think that. But I think that he's still convinced that he is the best player in the NBA. And I'm not ever going to expect him to think differently, because that's what's got him to being the best player in the NBA is his thought that he is the best, right? Because you have to think like that if you're at his level. You have to.
Right.
But like,
right, absolutely.
But like, I think you're right. I love it. I love the idea of it, but like, I don't think it's ever going to happen, because I don't think, just obviously, whether or not it's LeBron's mindset or just the natural things, the ways that things happen in the NBA, I don't think it's ever going to happen. But
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
I like it.
I feel like it could, because I mean, you think about that. Think about that team at that point: Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, and LeBron James.
Logic though, like who is taking his starting position? You know what I'm saying? Like who they have 4-5 players who are better than LeBron, or just for like the pattern of the team.
The pattern of the
like
team.
They should come off the
right,
yeah,
right. Because then you're giving those other young guys in the second team the ability to play basketball with LeBron. He's going to teach those guys how to change his fucking game.
Right, and because logically to me, go ahead.
I feel like when and then you add in the benefit of that specific locker room and how much knowledge, basketball knowledge, is in that locker room between Monty Williams and Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton is really learning. Devin Booker knows his shit. Diana Taurasi still supports that organization and helps work with those guys when they need help. There's so much basketball knowledge in that locker room. And then you add in LeBron fucking James.
Yeah.
Bro.
It would either be a masterpiece or it would be a fucking disaster, because
kind of like the LA Lakers.
You would be in a fuck. Yeah. Might just turn the Suns into the Lakers. You don't want that.
Oh God, no. As long as you don't. Well, no. The Frank Vogel and Russell Westbrook killed the Lakers.
Did you see their game the other night where they got fucking? I watched the entirety of that game, dude. They were, dude. Russ Westbrook was having a party in the middle of the fourth quarter. This dude is out there fucking.
He looks a lot better now in that 6-man position. Russell Westbrook looks better there. They should have done this last year. If Frank Vogel had the stones to make that, yeah, we did. If Frank Vogel had the stones to make that change last year, the Lakers would be a playoff team.
Yeah, because
and they can still recover at this point with how they're growing. I think they can recover, and they're a play-in team. But if they'd have done that last year, they're a playoff team this year.
I think that they make the playoffs this year, honestly, because it's such a weird dynamic. And you know what? An interesting move by LeBron James. When fucking Russ got hit in the forehead and was bleeding. Did you see that whole thing?
He was trying to get elbow in the forehead.
He was like playing doctor, and we were joking about it, about how much he fucking like just doesn't need to be like we're like, he is not qualified to do that at all. Like, why is he doing that? And it's literally because like he is not qualified. Like
he's not qualified.
Wait, there's like 3 trainers standing around, and none of them want to take the towel from him because he's LeBron. So he's like walking around holding Westbrook's head. Like it reminds me of semi-pro where they're like Jackie Moon gets hurt, and they're just doing a terrible job of supporting his head and neck. Like that's what it reminds me of. Like he's not qualified at all to be doing that. And like I liked it though because LeBron's trying to show like Russ he's trying to like outwardly show, and I bet he's been doing this behind the scenes, like in practices. He's definitely been doing it. He's trying to show like that he doesn't hate Russ. They don't hate each other. Like there's nothing. I don't think there's any animosity between them. I think they're in a weird situation in which people said there was animosity between them, and they just like were like, "Fuck, you guys are fucking idiots, dude. Like this is so stupid. Like why are we not? Because we have separate lives. Yes, we have separate lives. We're fucking NBA superstars. Like we don't hang out with each other all the time."
Right. Well, and I have plenty of people that I work well with. I do not do shit after work with these people.
Right.
I actually work very well with my boss. My boss is a great dude. He's a very smart individual. I'm better at my job because of him. Like I legitimately believe that. But I don't want to go have a beer with him. I want to fucking go home.
You guys aren't gonna be hanging out.
But like he's the type of person that I wouldn't mind going to have a beer with. But I leave work at work, man. I want to go and fuck home.
You almost have to, because once those kind of things start getting, that's got to be the weird dynamic about playing basketball too. Is because like if you're just going out with your friends, how are you like? If you're going out with people you work with, how are you gonna like be their subordinate or whatever? Like how are you gonna be their boss at work then? Because like that makes it weird. Because then other people that know that you're going out with them are gonna be like, oh, you're favoring that person. Like it just makes it really strange. And that's obviously like that's it's staple work time.
Right. Well, and like and I get that. And like I've been friends like that with previous bosses.
So have I.
I would go have a beer with them. I have bosses that I smoked weed with. Like
most of the time it
wasn't at work, but
most of the time. Yeah. I used to tell people like at Olive Garden, I remember I used to this woman was becoming a manager, and she was like my friend as a server, right? She's becoming a manager, and I was like, hey, if you need to, I'll try to help her. I'd be like, if you need to yell at somebody and like assert dominance over somebody to show people that you're going to yell at people, so just fucking do it to me. I was like, seriously, do it to me. Like yell at me. Like if you want to, because you know that I'm not going to be mad about it, that I'm going to understand what you're saying. And like, also I told you to do it. So like, you can just you can show that you're going to yell at people. And like, you can, cause there's gotta be that little bit of like, if people's buttholes don't pucker as a manager, when you walk around, you're really not doing your job. Honestly, like if a little bit, if they don't go, oh shit, I need to fucking act like I'm doing
there needs to be some type of understanding of actual authority. And so authority, yes, there is that thing where if you're a manager, you need to understand how your people tick. You do need to understand what motivates them, what's going on. And your employees need to have the ability to say, hey, look, this is rough. And know that you're going to be there to work with them on that in an objective sense. But at the same time, that authority needs to be able to be established and exercised when necessary. That's the point of the position. And so there's a difference.
you'd almost like it to be, no, you're fine. Sorry. You'd almost like it to be like where you just have to do it once, and or a couple of times. So like, you don't have to be doing it all the time. So like people just know off the bat that like, oh, he's willing to, get serious about shit. And like, so that's what I was telling her about. I was like, they're going to like, they're going to see you do that to one of their obviously most outspoken employees who you would think if they didn't respect you as a manager, but say something back to you. Right. And I won't say shit. Like, I'll just let you say whatever you want. You can yell at me. You can do whatever you want. Like, I'll just sit there and take it. And I'll be like, yes, ma'am. Like I'll be off in the back. And like, I've told that to multiple managers, like, you could just yell at me, dude. Like, I'm not, obviously, I'm probably fucking up. I probably am fucking up. And so like, just do it to me. Cause like, you don't want to just do it to some random person who's going to freak out. And then,
right.
Because you don't want to like have to fire people.
It's that thing where you can kill two birds with one stone. I probably did fuck up. And these other people are going to know that you are doing your job.
Yes. And that's basically,
people
was my
understand
point.
That you're doing your job. They allow you to do your job.
Yes. And they'll just be, they should be more cooperative with you in the future if that's something that they know that you're willing to do. Right.
Right. And then obviously there's lines you don't cross, but at the same time, you need to establish who's in control.
Yes. And like, obviously don't, cause they would have just spoken to me, like been like, hey, you need to do this differently, blah, blah, blah. But like some people just operate under that assumption that like, if you don't yell as a manager, apparently you're not a good manager. It's like, yes. And I think that they do, honestly. I think some people are just like, hey, maybe not yell, but if they don't like chew people out sometimes that they're not a good manager. I'm like, that's not true. But like some people actually believe that. So like for the people who believe that, you can actually just solidify that through me if you want to, like it's because I think there are some people who operate under that assumption that like if you're not chewing people out, that you're not a good manager. It's not at all true. But
there are some people that they associate, and a lot of times it's because of environment that they were brought up in. But there are some people that they associate authority with aggressiveness and assertiveness.
Yeah.
And so when they see those characteristics displayed in the person that is in the authoritative position, that's what they connect, that they continue that association. And so it's easier for them to understand that's the person in charge. When you think about especially in like a kitchen, when you have a female manager, you and I both know that there's a lot of times where a lot of those guys will be like, I'm not listening to a woman until that bitch lays the law down.
Yeah.
And that's why you said that to your friend. And I completely understand it. Like, I get it, especially in a kitchen setting. Like that shit, it has to happen because there's some guys that unless they get shocked into seeing you're actually going to do shit, they're not going to take you seriously.
Yeah. And obviously on that front too, like with that particular situation, it was like I'm usually kind of alpha stage in that situation as well. Like when because I was a manager and stuff, like I just act like I know everything. So like people think that I do in kitchen situations like I obviously don't. But like, exactly. Yeah. Like obviously like I'll just act like I know everything. So like, then they respect me. And if they see her doing that to me, they know that nobody is off the fucking table. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so
it's like what Belichick does to Brady, would do to Brady at the start of every season.
Yeah. I'm calling myself Tom Brady. That's exactly what I'm doing. I am calling myself Tom Brady. I am the GOAT of kitchen workers. But yes, but that is what like, my point of it is like, hey, I'm pretty good at my fucking job. I'm obviously pretty like, these people know that like, if somebody is doing me wrong as a manager, I am going to fucking say something about it. Like, and I'll just do it out loud. And if I don't do it to you, like, that's basically use me as an instrument. And I'm sure that Brady had that, like Belichick had that conversation with Brady or vice versa before that shit happened. Like he wasn't just in there fucking dogging him out, or there was some kind of secret understanding between those two that like, they knew like, yeah, I do this every year.
I would not be surprised if there was an understanding where Brady had told him like, look, people need to be able to respect you and they need to not have me on such a high pedestal so that there's actual balance around here. I mean,
they met in a coaches meeting. If it wasn't just them two, it was them and maybe a couple other coaches, but like they know, and they met weekly and they know that, and Brady probably suggested it and said like, hey,
I would not be surprised. Like, hey, make sure that these guys understand I'm just a player, because you have to think about it from Brady's perspective. He understands that he's one of the greatest fucking things to ever live when it comes to football. Like if you think Tom Brady doesn't know how much of an ass kicking quarterback he is, you're fucking stupid. But at the same time, he also understands the impact of his actions on some of these other players that aspire to be that level of great.
Yeah.
If he conducts himself, if he makes sure that everything around him is conducted where he's treated like every other player, then those guys are still going to follow in those processes. The reason that Tom Brady is different is because of the things he did different. But he made sure he was still held accountable for his actions, just like those guys are, so that they didn't think there was a level where there was no longer accountability.
Right. And it works both ways. If you do it the wrong way, like, dude, I mean, I've worked, I'm not going to mention the situation, but like I've worked in a restaurant where this lady who had worked there for like 30 years got fired. And this woman she basically sacrificed her life, like not sacrificed her life, but she like gave her life to this restaurant. Right. And then we watched her get fired one day. And I was like, what the fuck? And that immediately made me think like, she just got fired without any respect or anything. There was no like respectful actions that happened here. Like she just basically didn't really do that much and got fired for it. And it was like, very like snaky and like not right. That made me immediately think like, what will they fucking do to me? Like what? This woman worked here for 30 fucking years. What are they going to do to me? Like, what are like, I've worked here for years.
That's
what
why
the fuck are they going to do to me?
You'll see a lot of when company takes over, the current executives, at least some of them are gone.
Yeah.
And new people are put in. Either brought up or typically brought in from the outside because they want that specific voice at that table now.
Right.
That happens before anybody that's in the bottom tier ever gets shit on. Who's doing the shitting changes first?
Yes.
And then the ripple effects start. And that impact grows and it grows and it grows and it grows until finally it gets down to the bottom level where we're at. But
that's a good point though, because like the person who owned this place, like they had owned this place for like many years before that. So like they actually saw all of that work, like it wasn't just like they just like stepped in and were like, yeah, we don't really know this person. Like I would have almost understood it at that point. I'd been like, yeah, well, obviously you got to get rid of,
right.
If you have to get rid of people, then you got to get rid of people. You bought the company. Like that's actually understandable changes that you can make because you bought the company. Yeah. Now you own it. You don't need to keep former employees. It's actually not any of your responsibility. It's not really any of your responsibility. And that's just collateral damage that sucks.
Right.
Exactly. That's collateral damage that sucks. But like this person that owned the business for like a while, and it was like, what the fuck are they going to do to us? How much do they not care about us if this woman just gets treated like that? Like, right. I was like, no. I was like, what the fuck, dude? It made me just give up. I was like, I kind of just give up on this job because I don't fucking think that I'm expendable as a motherfucker. Like they don't.
That's the hard thing is seeing your own expendableness. But also, in fairness, if I ever actually got the money and the opportunity to start a restaurant, you would be a kitchen manager because I know that you would do it right. And if I was buying a place, it would probably be, hey, Dad.
yeah. Let's.
Guess what? Come fire the. You're going to come help me fire the person whose job you're getting.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's just what it would be.
Yeah, that's the worst part though, because that's a good point that you bring up. Though, is what I was trying to say is like, if it's a new management or like new ownership, like I'm not trying to say that's because they worked here for 30 years because they don't know that person. Like, yeah, they worked for 30 years, but like, were they doing the right job or were they just working there because they were friends with the former owner? Right. But this was somebody who had owned it for a while.
When somebody new is buying a business, the other thing is they probably bought that business with a vision of making changes, and the changes, and this is the start of those changes and the people that are going to facilitate those changes. I bought this restaurant, but it's got a 2-star rating on Yelp because the kitchen manager yells at customers that complain about food. Well, guess what? I'm going to change that image by firing that fucking kitchen manager first fucking thing.
Yeah. Because and with a lot of jobs too, like I used to have an actual boss that basically said like, I would love to have, this is a terrible statement to make, but it's actually really true. He said, I would love to have employees from like 3 months where they're completely trained to about 1.5 years. He's like, and they're just on like an installment because he goes 3 months to about 1.5 years is when you're going to get the best productivity out of employees. He's like, after 1.5 years, they either become entitled, they become sick of their job, or they, it was really, I was like, that's actually fucking really true. It's not possible to do because you can't, but like, it kind of is true in most cases. It's like after 1.5 years, it either becomes bitterness at the company, so if they're not like moving up fast, and you can't do that to everybody because you can't just advance everybody into fucking, not everybody can just be the fucking boss. So like, yeah, he was basically just saying like, I would love to have people from like 3 months to 1.5 years. Like that's the best area of productivity because it is. And after 1.5 years, it kind of turns into like, oh, either they're here because they think they just deserve to be here, or they're just they just know everything. There's no learning new stuff. Like, and it's just tough. It's tough. But like, that was kind of, yeah, it just made me think like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm so expendable here. Like, you guys all are too. I'm telling other employees too. I'm like, yo, you guys are fucking employed. I was like, did you see what they just did? It's like, don't think that your job here is very solid, because they'll fucking kick you out the back door. And that's
right. And here's the thing. Ultimately, it's a business. They would, if you have a need to send somebody packing and you're not doing it, you're not making the right choice for your business. That's just, it is what it is. Regardless of the reason, you're not making, I'm obviously, it sounds like breaking the law. Like, don't break the law. Like, that's fucking stupid. But like on a normal situation, like if there's a need, there's a need. Just get it fucking done. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But okay. So as we wrap up tonight, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give the chance of me being able to get a LeBron James Phoenix Suns jersey?
Chances wise,
yeah,
fucking probably zero, bro. Unless Bronny gets drafted there, you're not seeing LeBron James in the Phoenix Suns jersey.
Dan, I need you to lie to me right now.
It's not happening.
Goddamn.
And you still have Chris Paul as your fucking leader, which is not a great start. I just don't believe in the Phoenix Suns, because of their previous couple of years history here, where they're really good all regular season. And all I have to hear about from you,
they're the Mets of the NBA right now.
Yeah, they're the fucking Dodgers of the NBA right now. Is what they are.
Yeah, the Dodgers of the NBA right now.
They're just fucking. Wrong. They're just. They just can't. Well, but they're not the Dodgers, because the Dodgers won a championship. But they're the Mets. You're right. Sorry, they're the Mets. But they just can't. They got to show me something outside of like I wrote to you earlier. You're like, you're something about Devin Booker getting, he's all this motivation from Pat Beverly. He shouldn't need Pat Beverly to give him. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll read everybody this post, because it's what started this whole thing. Dear Pat Bev, thank you for pushing DeAndre Ayton in the back. Your impression of the dirty playing Morris brothers, Queef, and not Marcus Spears, which, by the way, that was a great fucking joke. And I did not get a compliment from you on that, and I think you're an asshole for it. Anyway.
I like it.
Your impression of the dirty playing Morris brothers, Queef and not Marcus Spears, has lit a fire underneath the Suns. Book and Ayton will give you an 80 piece when you see them next as a thank you. Signed, Suns fans. Now, of course, as a comic, that was a fucking joke. But there is, but where it comes from is I'm a member of a few Suns groups, and there are a bunch of fans that are saying that. No, that's not. That's if that's what happened. I hope then they're not going to win the championship, because that type of energy fades. That should never be your catalyst. Maybe spurring on playoff momentum. Like, do we need to get somebody make another dirty shot on one of the Suns players in like January?
I went to that Suns group that you're in, and I just want to say the amount of delusion in that group is like comparable to like the Westboro Baptist Church group. Like the Westboro Baptist Church. Like you guys are like right there. Like you guys are just delusional as fuck. Like everybody's like, we're gonna win the title this year. I'm like, how long have the same people been on here? Like, yeah, this is our title year. It's Chris's year. He's gonna get there. Like, I'm like, how? Like, is he just gonna have to retire? And you guys are gonna have to reset? Like, this group is gonna have to be imploded after this year, because it's like 7 people are just gonna like, I don't know. There's some serious delusion going on in that group. There's some serious delusion going on.
It's
lovely. You guys are fans. It's great. Like, I get it.
Man,
I'm wearing a Nebraska football shirt right now, Tony, and I still have hope. All right. So can you imagine, like, how do you think, like, I'm just as bad?
But it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing to have hope with Matt Rule taking over that program. Now, I think realistically, it's going to take a couple of years for to really see a huge impact. His recruits and his staff making a true difference. But at the same time,
what do you think Matt Rule's career record is? Do you know off the top of your head as a college football coach?
I don't. I saw the numbers the other day, but I can't remember.
He's 49-47. He's two games over 500 as a college football coach.
They'll get you guys to a bowl game.
Did you see the stuff about me and Stacks talking about how we're going to go to the fucking Meineke Carco Bowl? Like, that's what it's going to be. Like, if we even get to, like, the smallest, tiny little – if we win 6 games, we're going to be fucking ecstatic. Like, we're going to be crying and shit. And that's, like, that's bad. That's not a good thing. That's how far the mighty have fallen at this point. And, like, us to be accepting of that is the first step, because there's a lot of people – I'm not going to name any names, like everybody who's a football fan 50 years and older of the Nebraska Cornhuskers is still thinking that we're just like, that we're fucking the #1 program in the nation. And like, we get the fucking best of everything. What the fuck are you guys talking about? What evidence do you have that we're even a top tier college football team anymore?
Do you guys actually, and I'm not meaning this to be insulting, I'm legitimately asking this as a question. Does Nebraska's football team get any 4-star recruits? Or is it all 3 stars?
We get a lot of 4 stars. Our recruiting class now is probably between 25 and 40 every year, which
it's not bad.
Should keep you in the top. It is. It's in the like last year was like 25th in the nation. So we're in the top 25 in recruiting every single year, which means that we're doing some we're not running the program properly because we have the best facilities. These boosters, obviously these 50-year-old and older mostly men, from Nebraska are all just crazy about Nebraska football. And remember in the 90s when we were just fucking unstoppable, basically, and the 80s and the 70s, forever we were basically unstoppable, and now we're not, and they're still kind of living in that time, and they're still giving a bunch of fucking money to Nebraska football. Like the facilities are top of the line.
And I think Matt Rule, because of his younger attitude and his approach coming back in with now that you have the NIL deals, I think we might start to see a bit of a change with that. We might start to see a little bit of an improvement. Like I said, a couple of years, it's going to take some time because it's going to take some time for them to figure out how they need to approach it.
Rule can sell a ketchup popsicle.
Rule can sell a ketchup popsicle. The other thing is I would not be surprised to see him funnel that money he's going to be getting from the NFL into NIL deals in some way, which I know is technically against the rules. It's not going to look like it's coming from Rule, but it's going to be coming from Rule.
And I'm 100% for that. And like when we talked about Frost, I said, why? Like, I want him to pay some players. Like, we need to pay players. Like, why are we not paying players? And then the NIL comes along, and now I'm the asshole then for saying he needs to pay players, but now we're just going to pay the players. Like, duh. Why are we not fucking paying the players? Like, there's a bunch of fucking money. There's a bunch of fucking money. Like, why? Where's it going? That was my biggest question.
And that's the thing is you can, as an organization, as a school, especially the school that as storied as you are, should be back in prominence. There is absolutely no reason why you should not be putting money into the pockets of your players, especially the players that are going to bring you attention. You know, $75,000 a year if you're on the roster. $75,000 a year. Can you think of what that does for a college kid?
Yeah. Well, in a lot of cases,
or even 50,000. So 50. We'll say if you're a third string defensive back, but you're at the school, you earned your spot in the program, $50,000
a year.
Yeah,
that's crazy money, and that's great. That would be
because like you can focus on school. You don't have to work. You can focus on school. You can focus on school and football. Start to work on managing your money. Start to build your brand with focus and strengthen that program. And then obviously your bigger recruits, you can use those other NIL deals, your sponsorships, your local businesses that want to be able to put money in a player's pocket to help build the school up. Use that. Don't get me wrong. But Rule can still funnel some of his own money into those guys at the bottom to bring that bottom up so that you have that so that you can more effectively execute that next man up mentality in the, not just if, when situations the players get hurt. That keeps you, because that's one of the ways that you build a program up is because a lot of times it's not even the issue. It's not even a lot of issues at the top. It's the bottom that needs to be brought up so that everything else can start to balance out again. That's how you bring that bottom up. I mean, you've got when it comes to players that are on the roster for college football, it's 65? It's
like 70. It's like 70 something, but yeah, you should buy that in that area. It's a lot.
All right. So let's think about this from a perspective of Because Nebraska, if you're on the roster, there's almost a guaranteed chance you're on scholarship, at least half.
Yeah.
If you're on the roster, you're on scholarship.
They have a famous walk-on program, but eventually those guys end up getting scholarships. Basically, if you walk on and make the team,
just books and tuition. Let's just take care of that because you're doing something. You should be there.
That should be taken care of for all college students anyway. But
I mean, realistically,
fucking stupid ass shit.
For the athletes, let's just throw that out the door right now. But you get to the point where you're in that, first or second on the depth chart. Let's put some money in your pocket. Let's make sure if one of the local businesses isn't doing it, let's funnel you some money in some way so that we can take care of you and we don't lose you to transfer portal. Because that's the other thing now. Yeah, you've got the NIL deal, but now you got the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Kids want to play. And if they think they can play, they're going to jump into that portal like it's a fucking pool.
Yeah. And we just got like one of the biggest transfer portal guys. We just got Trey Palmer from LSU, who was a 5-star. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying like that was last year. Like he played this year and he's gone. He's leaving already. He's a junior. He's a redshirt junior. So he fucking is gone. But that's a lot about that culture. Stacks had a really interesting story. Like basically a guy came to Nebraska for a recruiting visit and basically said it was like the most boring shit like imaginable. He said that like nobody was like Frost wasn't even there for one. So like if you go to Nebraska to do a fucking visit and you're a high touted recruit, it was the Ungulalele guy or whatever the fuck his last name is. It's really hard to pronounce. Like he's like a 5-star dual threat and he like came to Nebraska for a fucking visit and he basically said like it was the worst visit ever because Frost wasn't even there. Like he basically just he felt like he got treated kind of like he was like a fucking problem. Like he was like he was an inconvenience to them for like being there for a visit when they're trying to like recruit him. And like that's the worst, right? Like that's the worst part of like trying to like, yes, we want you here, but we're gonna act like you're a fucking inconvenience for us to like actually recruit, which is the worst feeling to give anybody that you want to actually come to your school.
That's not how you build a program. And I'm hoping that Matt Rule can and that's the thing with college programs though, is that's one of your most important pieces is recruiting, because it's other everything. Stuff as far as the football, your offensive coordinator, your defensive coordinator, your position coaches, the trainers, they take care of all of that. You get, you have meetings in the off season about schemes and you guys talk about film and stuff like that. But as the coach, outside of winning games, your job is recruiting.
Yes. And you want to be a rah guy who can recruit in college more than you want to be a fucking X's and O's guy, because the X's and O's in college aren't that fucking, they aren't that hard. The level of difference in talent is so big at that point still that you can just run 8 fucking plays. Go watch a fucking 2009 Florida Gators game and watch how many plays Tim Tebow even ran. Dude, they had like fucking 8 plays that entire year and nobody could stop them. No, because these motherfuckers knew exactly where the ball was going and they still couldn't stop it. Like in the NFL, if you know exactly where the ball's going, those defensive dudes are going to stop you. Like they're just as good as you are. Like that's different. Like Andy Reid, I don't think would be that good of a college coach, because he's not like, that's not really his thing. Like he's not about like rah. He's about like, in the NFL, we got to like make plays that fucking work. Like we have to outsmart people because everybody's basically on the same talent level. In college, if you have the talent, it's real easy to win. It's real fucking easy to win. Just run it down somebody's throat. And that's what Nebraska did in the 90s is we had the best offensive lines. We had the best running backs, and we had an option quarterback that knew how to fucking run the system. And we ran 2 fucking plays the whole time. We ran triple option, fake it to a fullback, run the option, and triple option pass, fake it to a fullback, run the option, and throw the pass. That literally, that's all we did for like 30 fucking years. Like, it's not hard if you have the players to do it in college. So recruiting is everything. And recruiting is easier, as Nick Saban has shown, that when you have a couple of fucking rings, just wear those motherfuckers to the recruiting meeting. Just wear them in there. Let people see the sparkle a little bit. And then Saban, obviously, probably fucking, that guy can definitely sell ketchup popsicle. And he's walking into those Southern homes, and all those women in those Southern homes are just going, absolutely, my son's going to Alabama. Have you seen Nick Saban? Like, look at this man. He is just a beautiful man with all them rings on, and there's no way to stop him. He's gonna recruit everybody. He's gonna get all of them because they love Nick Saban, and it's a lot about the parents loving Nick Saban. And Nick Saban's probably a fucking very enticing, very charismatic dude, as he obviously is, right? And he's got that Southern accent, and it's just like it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing for him. And once he started winning, it became way easier. It was like, yeah, I'm Nick Saban, bro. I'm Nick Saban. Just wins eventually.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing is when it comes to football, except for the NFL, because Nick Saban could not coach the NFL.
No, he's not just like Andy Reid's not a college coach. I don't think Nick Saban's an NFL coach. Like in the same senses.
Right. But yeah, so I think it's gonna be an interesting thing to see what happens there. Like I said, Cornhusker fans, your goal is bowl season. I wouldn't expect it next year. Following season, you'll probably be in contention. There you go.
Pelini era begins. That shows you how old this fucking shirt is. What was that, 2006?
2000, yeah, I would say 2005, 2006.
Oh, hey, this reminds me too. That big fucking Adidas sign, get the fuck rid of that, Nebraska. What are you doing? Why are we not sponsored by fucking Nike? Why are we not sponsored by Nike? Get a Nike scholarship, you fucking idiots, or a Nike sponsorship, you fucking idiots. Nobody wants to come wear Adidas shit besides Reggie Bush. Nobody outside of Reggie Bush, who lost a Heisman because he got paid exactly less than NIL.
Isn't Patrick Mahomes, isn't your son's stuff through Adidas?
Fuck, because he wants the money. I know Patty, all right? I know Patty. And Patty just wants the money. And I get it. I'm like, all right.
You really think Nike wasn't gonna pour it out for him?
Do you think Patrick Mahomes is like repping Adidas because he likes the fucking gear? No. Nike clearly makes the fucking best equipment, and they make the coolest equipment. That's actually the biggest thing. It's not even like it's really that fucking like their shit just looks cooler than because it's got the Nike swoosh on it. Am I wrong?
I mean,
or the Jordan symbol.
But like, here's the thing: I don't wear a lot of Nike shit.
That jersey looks cool. It's got Nike swoosh on it.
But this swoosh and knowing that this is a legit jersey and it's Nike, it's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. What are you gonna like? Or like the only thing that rivals it, like football wise, is the NFL equipment fucking logo. That's the only thing that rivals it. The little NFL equipment logo. That's the only thing that because obviously Aaron Rodgers will never leave Green Bay.
I disagree. I think Aaron Rodgers is gone from Green Bay after the season.
I think Aaron Rodgers is gone from football after the season. I don't think Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers. Well, he might like stumble through it another couple of years or something, but he doesn't need the money.
I think he tries to get traded and play one more year with somebody. See if somebody will pull him in for 1 year. Like, I don't know. Because obviously Kenny Pickett's not working out like they thought. Maybe the Steelers trade for him or Atlanta.
That's interesting. How about Denver? But that's
Denver is stuck with Russell Wilson for at least 3 years. I was looking at something, the dead cap numbers, right? If they cut Russell Wilson at the end of the season, they have $107 million in dead cap next year from that contract.
Yeah, it would cripple them financially.
It would, it would completely wreck them.
They have to figure out how to make that work. Sort of like Russell Westbrook, sort of similar to Russell Westbrook. They have to make that work. So all the Russells are just there fucking taking up money, and they have to figure out a way to make it work. But hey, you know what, Lane? I think that Aaron Rodgers is just going to go be hugged by his ancestors and feel the 1,000 arms of his ancestors embracing him.
I wonder if we're gonna get some information on when the next ayahuasca trip will be, because maybe he's gonna go do that again and then come home and decide if he's gonna stay in Green Bay or ask for a trade.
For further updates, watch Tuesday on the Pat McAfee Show to figure out when the next ayahuasca trip will be and whether or not he'll move outside of himself and all of his ancestors will embrace him as him being proud of him. I just love that so much, dude, that he's fucking He's the first. What other guy has done more for like, I guess the outskirts of like conversation in professional sports than Aaron Rodgers? First guy to say he's an atheist. First athlete ever. I don't care what you say. Nobody has ever came out and said they don't believe in God.
No, there's been some others, but he's been the most outspoken about it. But he's been the biggest. Right. Yeah, he's been the biggest.
The best, like the most famous one to do it for sure.
The most famous,
and then to openly say he used psychedelics, even fucking Bill Walton hasn't done that. And we all know Walton's doing them, right? Like,
oh yeah, come on.
Like it's like Walton's as apparent as fucking Barry Bonds was using roids. Like that's how apparent Walton is. Like Walton was flower juicing, bro. Walton was flower juicing like a motherfucker. And now the A-Rod's flower juicing, you know, like flower juicing. But yeah, I mean, like Walton, you know, it's just Walton hasn't even said it because Walton doesn't need to say shit. Walton's established. Walton's established. Walton's that's our mascot for Hardwood on Wednesdays, by the way.
Oh, Bill Walton.
Bill Walton. Yeah, he's gonna become our mascot. He's gonna be our first. He's gonna be our first guest. He's gonna be like Tony, everything is just freaking awesome. He's like, everything that I do and everything that is around me is freaking awesome and it's beautiful. And we're gonna be like, I love his positivity. Just love it.
Is Bill Walton like Pat McAfee 1.0 or something?
How positive? Well, I mean, McAfee's not as positive, but yes, like there's like Walton dude is fucking the most positive. People respond to like that much positivity no matter what, you know. So like you could just be like the most happiest positive guy ever, and basically people will like you because they're like, oh, I see that guy. his outlook, it's so refreshing. It's like, yeah, he's just happy about everything because he's fucking living in an animated world where, you know, squirrels talk to him and things like that, which is, I can't imagine, you know, like I've done a lot of psychedelics, but fuck, like that guy got stuck. He got stuck somewhere, dude. Like he went into like Alice in Wonderland and didn't come back out. Like he's still in Alice in Wonderland, and like you gotta appreciate it, I guess. I mean, he's always feels like he's happy. Right? He's healthy, older man like that.
On that, true story, back when I started doing comedy the first time in 2007, you know, this is 2000, like late 2007, early 2008, somewhere in there is when I started originally. I had gotten the chance and gotten booked at some shows with this guy who's really old hippie that ran some comedy shows down here, and he booked me every once in a while.
Flower juicing.
And he had entire bits where he talked about using acid when he was younger, and got to hanging out one night after a show, you know, comedy show, everybody, the comics, you know, get together and hang out after, usually do something. And we were all hanging out one night and he started talking about it. And there was at one point, like he'd been doing acid and he got stuck and he was in a hospital for 1.5 years.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's a little different. Acid's a little bit different because acid, LSD,
it can fuck up your brain.
LSD is a little different. I'm not talking about specifically LSD, but like LSD is a little different. LSD can, yes, obviously they were using that to experiment on a lot of people. Most famously, Charlie Manson was a guinea pig for Unabomber. Ted Kaczynski was a guinea pig. So like, yes, obviously there's some negative effects to acid. Ayahuasca and DMT, I don't know if there is like, that's kind of like a thing that like it's already in your brain, so I don't know if it actually.
I think both of those are natural or synthesized versions of natural stuff. So I think DMT's in basically every living thing on the planet. So it's already in your brain. It's made of pineal gland. So like, I don't know if you can actually even fuck up. With acid is it's something that's it's definitely synthetic.
100%.
And it's not something, it's not a synthetic version of a normal compound. It's something completely different. And so that's really, you know, that's really,
and we've talked about that before. We've talked about that before as far as like natural drugs, like weed that grows in the ground, shit like that.
Right.
Like we've talked about that being like, you really can't, you can go wrong with stuff that's made by people. You know what I'm saying? Like any kind of like prescription drug, shit like that. Like we don't know how that shit reacts to our bodies, but like with weed and stuff like this has been thousands of years of evidence that shows like this stuff's there to like people can get high off of it. It's okay. And that's the same thing with DMT. Is like it's not synthetic. Somebody didn't make this. Somebody figured out this was in our own brain and figured out how to do way too much of it, basically, so that your brain's already has reacted to the stuff before. It reacts to it when you go to sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like it's not something that's gonna freak you out. Like LSD is definitely synthetic. Like that's some shit that like somebody made, you know, to get you high off of. So that's a little different. I don't trust LSD that much. I've done LSD one time. Crazy shit. I remember just moving stuff on the walls, like taking it with my hands, and I could just like move it to other places and it would stay there. Like I could move things around the room.
That shit.
Does that make sense? Like it is. Like I could take my laptop right now and like move it over, and it would just stay there. Like it wouldn't actually like go back or anything. Like I could move it and just if I stayed in this little trance like zone, you could like move around. It's fucking nuts, dude. And that's not natural.
No,
that's clearly not like 1,000 ancestors hugging you type shit. That's like some stuff. That's like some stuff that like your brain is literally like fucking freaking the fuck out, and it's probably not the best to do all the time.
No, don't do drugs.
Well, do DMT and weed, but not any other drugs. Not any other drugs.
Only do natural drugs, kids.
Maybe drink.
Don't know.
Weed's okay. When after you're like 20.
Don't drink to mask your pain. Drink to enjoy the evening.
Yes, or both simultaneously, because you can forget about your.
Well, but you have to be careful with that because that's where alcoholism and alcohol dependency starts. If you're starting to use that as a coping mechanism, no, handle the shit first. Drink because you've handled it, not because you can't handle it. There,
or in social situations with your family, it is. Or in social situations
or
with
social
your family.
situation. Yeah, right.
Which needs you to not be nervous.
Anybody that can raw dog it with their family, with being sober the whole time, I personally believe they're serial killers.
Yeah, like what are you like the fucking master fucking narcissist? Like what the fuck is wrong with you?
Is sober
I don't trust you.
Yeah.
If we're all drinking and you're not, and you're still like charming and shit, you kill people. Like that's
okay,
Dexter.
Yeah.
You kill people and you're not normal.
Dude, have you ever seen that show, Dexter?
I have, yes.
It's such a good show.
It is. I just saw a fucking thing the other day, some news report about some guy that killed his girlfriend and did the shit that Dexter does on the show, like the plastic bags, the individual plastic bags and shit.
Oh god.
Actually did that shit. And then they asked him, what's the worst thing to do? Like when you kill somebody and then like they ask you about it and you're like, oh, I got it from a show. Like how unoriginal can you fucking be? Like you motherfucker. Not only do you kill somebody, you can't even be original about it. Like you can't be like, God told me to do it.
That's but I mean, it still shows clear mental deficiencies because who looks at a TV show and goes, yeah, I can do that.
Right. Well, I do, but like at the same time,
right. But you're also like, watching American Idol and,
I was looking at Paula I could do that. But I could do that. I could be up there on The Voice. Blake Shelton could tell me that I'm good at something and that would complete my life. But, yeah, no, but yes, like they obviously have issues with it. Like, why would you be like, yeah, I got it from a show. So you did something that was actually completely original in killing somebody, because that is original no matter what you want to say about it. Like you actually kill somebody and then you use somebody else's methods that you saw on a TV show that wasn't even real. Like come on, man. Like just make something up.
Lame.
Lame. Come on, man.
Lame.
That's fucking lame, dude. Fucking lame. It makes me think you're less scary.
True story. So one of Martha's ex-boyfriends is in jail.
That's a great start to a story, by the way.
He has been found guilty of killing an individual and then stuffing their body in a barrel and setting it on fire. Like he did all of that himself. He thought that through. He's still a heinous murderer and a piece of shit, but he thought that through. Tried to escape the prosecution by running to Canada, which I think that was ultimately his dumbest fucking move because we're 3 hours from Mexico.
What? Yeah. What did you like? You saw the fence there and you were like, no, let's run the opposite direction 1,000 miles and get like, what? Why were you like, let's go into the country?
What that baffles me is he was running to Canada when he got caught. I was like, you dumbass.
You ever been at the Mexican border? They just let you in, bro. They just let you in. They'll just let you in.
You can get in. It's getting back this way that is the problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You had to smuggle yourself into Mexico. Like, congratulations. Like, the fuck are you talking about? You can get out. Just getting back in. Just plan on being there for a while. Like, they ain't gonna let you back in. You can get there though. Like, it's not. You just go. They're like, yeah, see ya. It's not, shit's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
For sure.
That's a great start to a story, though. We should have a story every week that starts with Martha's ex-boyfriend. I love that start to that story. Martha's ex-boyfriend was found guilty of. We have one of those you just keep coming up with stories. I'm like, are these all true? Martha, what did you do before you met? What did you do before you met Tony? Who are these people? She
was the badass. I'm her cover. I was her retirement settle.
I was gonna say you were the most beautiful mark she's ever seen. She's waiting in the wings. She's playing the long game. She's playing the long game, just keeping you she's keeping you on ice. Keeping you on ice for the United States government. Unbelievable. I don't know how I feel about this now. I don't know how I feel about this, Martha.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about this, Martha.
All right. So, final thoughts tonight, buddy.
Whoever fucking Derpy is, we lost him around about 20 minutes in. So apparently Derpy might have a little bit of a burping fetish. I think that might be the thing.
Yeah.
I feel like they might be going podcast to podcast, just trying to get white men to burp into a microphone, which might be their kink, and that's fine. But like, it's a little weird. So Derpy, if you're still hanging out, just if you need help or anything,
and
maybe
Lane
contact
from West Coast Radio, thank you for
psychologist.
joining us. I promise I'll get this episode up later so we can get back on track. I'm sorry.
Hey, Lane. I wasn't yelling at you the other day.
Radio, thank you for supporting us. All right.
I apologize to Lane real quick.
Okay.
If he's still on there. Hey, Lane. Sorry, buddy. I wasn't yelling at you the other day. I was just joking about telling you to, but seriously, don't tell us when the fuck in the show. I'm just kidding. No, that was awesome. Lane, thanks for producing that episode, buddy. I appreciate it. Sorry.
All right, my dude.
Goddamn Oregon people.
Goddamn Oregon people. No,
goddamn people from Oregon.
We appreciate you, Lane. And my final thought for the evening, everybody. Keep in mind that violence is not a good answer. Doesn't matter the situation. Unless you're defending yourself from a physical attack, violence is not the answer. Take care of your mental health. We are seeing now more than ever with how pressurized our society is that it is important to take care of your mind. Taking care of your mind is more important than anything else at this point. It's just like taking care of your body. If you don't, you will lose it. It will destroy you. It will kill you. We appreciate your support. We'll be here next week, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. Have a great night.
That was a good ending, Tony.
I appreciate that.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway, and in the driveway.